Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Thursday, October 12th, 2023, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App, $ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got Thursday night football, the Denver Broncos versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Kickoff will be here in about 15 minutes. So everyone get their drinks and beverages, as well as some food and snacks. And we should hopefully have a decent rivalry matchup. It may be a blowout. Obviously, most people have Kansas City winning big by 10 to 14 points. But this could be a trap game for Kansas City. We know Denver's defense is terrible, but Russell Wilson actually has been playing pretty good football in 2023 compared to last year. The offensive pieces in the skill positions with the running backs, tight ends, and wide receivers are a little beat up. Seems like every year they always go to IR or they have a significant injury. Same thing with some of the studs on the defense. But maybe, just like when we ended up doing the Packers versus the Raiders, I had kind of a weird feeling in the pit of my stomach that maybe the Raiders would pull off the upset. I'm not sure if I feel the same type of feeling today with the Broncos, because I don't think that they have that same type of juice that the Raiders had in that initial matchup. But I do think there is a possibility that Denver may keep it closer than people think. I don't think Denver's going to win. I think Kansas City is going to win the game. But instead of them winning by 10 or 14 or 20 or 25 or 30, maybe it ends up being a little bit closer. Maybe the Chief offense doesn't do as well as people think, or maybe they end up making a few mistakes to keep Denver in the game. I do have Patrick Mahomes in fantasy, so I would love for the Chiefs to go off and for Mahomes to throw for like 5 touchdown passes. That would be great for me, but maybe it ends up being, maybe closer to 2 or 3 touchdown passes, or maybe he runs one in. I don't really know the type of flow we're going to get, but the Chiefs haven't really looked like a championship caliber team in years past. I feel that they are still the best team in the AFC for now. The Bills have a lot of injuries on defense. That doesn't obviously help their cause. Miami Dolphins don't really have a defense, but they have an explosive offense like Buffalo. But when it comes down to it, it should be probably those 3 teams battling it out to represent the AFC. And then on the NFC side, you got the Niners, you got the Eagles, and they are at the very, very top of being the 2 best teams in football. And then below them, you got the Lions, you got the Buccaneers, you got the Seahawks, and then a few teams below them, like Packers and Cowboys, which may be frauds. We'll have to wait and see who's a contender and who is a pretender. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Thursday. Daniel in the building. What's good? Let's get to 100 in donos. Let's do it. Hopefully we can get some better support. $5 holla. Let me know what you want to see for photos, and I got you. 95 to go. And I appreciate you very, very much. We work very, very hard every single day, and hopefully we can get a decent turnout, and then hopefully we can end up hitting some goals, because I need it bad. So bang, bang, $5 holla. Let's go. Let me know what you want to see for photos, and I got you. And I got a lot of friends that are like Bronco fans as well. So we'll see how it goes. But they know that the defense isn't legit. Now, if they had Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, Patrick Surtain, right, as well as Simmons, like if you had all of those guys there, I think I would feel a little bit better about maybe the Broncos' chances with an upset, even them being on the road. But they can't stop a nosebleed on defense. I mean, if Russ can go off, I mean, look at his stat line, 11 touchdowns, 2 picks. That is like 1,000 times better, than what they did last year. But still, with that being said, you got to be able to shut people down. You got to have some kind of defense out there. And the running backs have been injured. Dulcich is injured. You do have some wide receivers out there, but I feel that the offense is kind of just floating, and they're trying to stay in games, but the defense is absolutely terrible for Denver. It's one of the worst in the league. So, the only way that the Denver Broncos are actually going to be able to win games is if they actually outscore the opponent, and that's going to be very, very difficult with a lot of these teams in the NFL that match up very well to Denver and that are better than the Denver Broncos. So the Russell Wilson is not the problem. It's literally almost everyone else but him, and including that defense. Big facts. How's it going, Daniel? What's good? Yeah, I mean, you can sell off some of the pieces and whatnot, but if you're smart, you don't get rid of Simmons and you don't get rid of Patrick Surtain. You can't do that. Those guys are way too valuable, and you're not going to be able to replace those pieces. Now, if you want to get rid of Cortland Sutton, if you want to get rid of Jerry Jeudy, if you want to get rid of Dulcich, but they won't because he's hurt right now in IR, if you want to get rid of Javonte Williams, if you want to really get rid of a lot of the wide receivers, that's fine. If you're really trying to tank, because you're going to lose games with those guys, you're going to lose games without those guys. So unless you're getting rid of all those pieces to make Russell look bad, so that way you can get rid of him in a year or two. But ultimately, I don't know. Sean Payton and Russell Wilson really aren't a fit for this Denver Bronco team, but they'll get rid of Russell Wilson first before they get rid of Sean Payton. That is big facts. So, but even if Sean Payton gets rid of Russell in a year or two, I'm not sure if he's going to be good enough to rebuild this team to a point where they're a playoff contender. He'll get fired more than likely before that ends up happening. And will they end up getting a coach that's better than him? Probably not. But you got so many pieces to rebuild on. Literally, you got to rebuild the whole entire defense except for Simmons and Patrick Surtain. So that's 9 starters that you have to get from somewhere or in the draft. And then the offensive line needs some work. And then if you're going to get rid of Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, then you're going to have to replace those pieces, which won't be easy. And then on top of that, you have to hope that your tight end Dulcich and Javonte Williams can stay healthy. And we've noticed that they're a little injury prone too. So not a whole lot to cheer for if you're a Denver Bronco fan. You may not be the worst team in the NFL, but you're definitely one of the bottom 10 in the NFL with the Giants and a few other teams sprinkled in that mix. Big facts. Megan in the building. What's good? We got a lot on. The Braves and the Phillies are on. We got basketball going on as well. What else do we got? We got Nuggets and Bulls. This is still preseason. Rockets and Pelicans. We got the Kraken and the Nashville Predators. So I think I'm going to try to watch 3 things at once. So I got to open up the link. I definitely want to watch the Kraken, so I'm going to put that on. And hopefully this won't slow down the stream, but we'll find out here. All right, so I got the Kraken up. All right, let's bring this down in the window. And then I also want to watch a little bit of the Phillies to see if they can move on or if the Braves are going to be in desperation mode and they can find a way. All right, so let me go here. I'm a fanatic, right? So it's like I can focus on one matchup, but I love watching multiple sports at the same time if I have an opportunity to do so. And I have the game on Amazon Prime, so that is actually on the TV. So I think we should be fine. It'll just be, me streaming this. And then I'm actually having, even though I am streaming, and then I'm streaming my live stream, the game, obviously through the HD 4K TV. And then I got the baseball with the Phillies and the Braves just starting off. And I got Kraken in Nashville on as well. So here we go. Yeah, Elliot, that's very big thing. We need to make sure that we're hitting 20 if we can somehow, some way. If we can get people that aren't a bunch of sheep going to a lot of the other popular channels and they can actually have a conversation here and we can enjoy the time here with the GOATs and with the regulars and whatnot. But, yeah, I wasn't surprised. That was a very tough opponent. Like, if you really think about it, out of any opponent that Seattle could have opened the season with, that was probably one of the top 2 hardest in the entire NHL to start off with, let alone, lowering the banner from the championship. So, and being on the road in Vegas. So I think we will bounce back. Gruden did not have his best game, but we need to be able to get, better attempts, as far as shots on goal. And we need to be more aggressive. And I think that, as long as we're not playing the Vegas Golden Knights every fucking week, we'll be fine. We're going to end up collecting some dubs. But I didn't think we were going to win that first game anyways. It would have been a big shocker to not only Vegas fans, but hockey fans globally. But I do think we still can be a playoff team and we'll be a good team, just a very tough opponent. And emotions were running high. When they have the Stanley Cup there and then lowering the banner, and you already know that Vegas is also going to be one of the best teams in the NHL this year again, a lot has to go your way to be able to get a victory in the first game on the road like that. So we'll be fine. But definitely tough loss, but we'll move on and we'll be all right. All right, so I got the Kraken on here with Nashville, the Predators, and then I got the Braves on here with the Phillies. Don't really care who wins between those two, but since the Phillies have been so hot and they're wearing the throwbacks, I'll be rooting for the Phillies. And so we got the Astros and the Rangers. I don't really care who represents. I mean, I would assume Rangers would be a little bit more liked, nationally, just because the Astros are so hated, with the cheating and whatnot, but I could really care less. And then the Diamondbacks advanced. So we're going to have either Phillies or Braves. I mean, the Braves, this was their World Series to lose, and that time off hurt them. And I'm not sure if the Braves are going to come back and be able to beat the Phillies. The Phillies, if they can get by Atlanta, the Phillies could end up representing, the National League against the Astros or the Rangers. And who knows, this might be the year that the Phillies win it all with Bryce. So big facts. Yes, I do like Yamamoto too. I like having him out there. Bjorkstrand, Maddie. We just need to be able to have good lines, good shots on goal, not a lot of penalties. Play smart, play aggressive. And then also, knowing that we're not going against Vegas. And Vegas, the reason they're so good, they have 7 or 8 guys that can score goals for them. That's about 5 more than the average team in the NHL. Like on a consistent basis, they got many guys that can step in. And then on top of that, their defensemen are huge. A lot of those guys, when you're skating on the ice, they all look like they're 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". A lot of them are huge out there, and that definitely makes a difference. So, we're going to be going against teams that are more on our level and also guys that we can take advantage of on the ice. So I definitely think that there is a good possibility that we get the dub today. Yeah, power play was not very good, but again, it's the opponent, It's like you got to understand too. It's not like we played one of the bottom teams in the NHL. We arguably played one of the probably top 5 teams, and they could end up being a top 2, top 3 team, coming right out of the gate. So it'll be okay. And even if we had that first game at home in Seattle, I think we probably would have lost too. It's just that's a tough opponent. Now they're not invincible. I know that if we play them again, especially if we play in Seattle, we're going to get revenge on them at some point. But when you see a team that's built that way, and especially with that swagger that they had, what are you going to do? If you don't bring your A game against an opponent that is an A grade, you're going to lose 99% of the time. And our power plays weren't good. I felt that the penalties were minimal, so that was good. We weren't as aggressive as we needed to be, and we didn't get enough shots on goal. But also that is a part of Vegas being so good, and with their defensemen just being so big and physical. So we'll be okay. We'll be all right. Odin's son in the building. What's good, brother? Avs come to Seattle. Yeah. I feel more confident against the Colorado than I do with Vegas. Like, honestly, out of all the teams, that are in the NHL, that is probably the one that, I'm not saying we need to avoid them, because of course, if we want to end up being Stanley Cup champions, and if we want to go deep in the playoffs, we're going to have to face our fears and go up against the best. If we want to be the best, we have to beat the best, and we're not there yet, but we're slowly going to climb and hopefully get there. So I got the Kraken and the Nashville Predators on the computer here, as well as the Braves and the Phillies. And then on the HD 4K TV, we got the Chiefs and the Broncos. So I got plenty of action on here. I'm ready to go. And then if things start lagging, then I'll have to turn off one of them and then watch it on another device. So, but anything that you guys want to go over sport-wise, just, go right ahead. Be my guest. Judah in the building. What's good? So I got the Kraken game on. I got the Braves and Phillies on. And then we got the Broncos and Chiefs. This is going to be fun. This is the best time of year. whether what people want to really admit it or not. I mean, especially if you're a sport fan, doesn't get any better than this. Basketball, baseball, hockey, NASCAR, NFL, college football, literally everything at our fingertips. It's awesome. All right, I'll get this situated there. I'm going to put the Kraken at the top. I had the Kraken at the bottom, but I want to focus on what's going there. So let me put the Kraken here. I got to adjust all my screens. I got like 8 screens up. So it's a way bigger deal. You get a trophy for that? I wish. Get rewarded like an MVP. Join now and get 50% off any foot long. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Keep me updated, Odin, on the Devils and the Wings. Finley in the building. What's good? Yes. Still 0-0 in the Kraken. Thanks for the share on the Twitter and X there, Sarah. I appreciate that. And, this game feels like a trap game to me. It's not as much as the Raiders and the Packers, where I had a feeling that the Raiders, me and Elliot, we felt it in our bones. Even though the Packers were supposedly the better team, something just didn't sit right with me. And it's not just the fact that I don't really like Green Bay or the Packers in general, because even if I don't like a particular player or a team, normally I'm just going to keep it real who I think is going to win. And finding out after the game was over and the Raiders had the upset, that was the first time they beat the Packers in like 15 to 20 years. I did not know that, going into that particular matchup until the matchup was over. But if the Broncos actually had a good defense, I would say that this would be the ultimate trap game in the division. But since their defense is terrible, even if the Chiefs don't play their best game, they should still end up winning by 10 or more, you would think. If the Chiefs have a bunch of turnovers, which I hope they don't, because I got Mahomes in fantasy, I need 25 to 40 points tonight. But I'm hoping that he throws for 3, 4, 5 touchdowns. But if he doesn't, then this game could end up being a little bit lower scoring if the Chiefs make mistakes, or if Pacheco or McKinnon fumble, or it gets punched out by Kadarius Toney. Like if something bad happens that's unexpected, or the Broncos get a special teams touchdown, or a pick six, or a fumble for a touchdown, some kind of X factor, then this game could be, as close as like a 24-20 kind of game. But I just don't really feel that type of score is going to happen, because the Broncos defense is probably the worst in the NFL. So this could end up being a big, big blowout. And I hope Mahomes plays great, because I need fantasy points. Baby, I'm going against Chief, who is 5-0, and I am 4-1 after having all my players on a bye and injuries. So I took my L. I don't want to take 2 L's in a row. Mahomes to Kelsey. That sounds good to me. What do you say, Reflect? Let's do it. And I got the Kraken on, so we'll do updates on that also. And Russell Wilson, whether you love him or you hate him, we know Megan and Reflect don't really care for him. I don't really care for him either, right? But 11 touchdowns, 2 picks. It hasn't been his fault. All right, this season, he's been good. He's been great. It's just the offensive line is suspect. Their running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends always get hurt. But ultimately, the reason why they're so terrible is the defense, not the offense. So let's see if the Broncos can get off to a fast start. And if they can, then maybe, just maybe, it ends up being a 24-20 kind of game, or a 27-20 kind of game. It's a divisional matchup. And we know the Broncos are terrible, but sometimes when you play that divisional opponent, you take them for granted. The Chiefs, thinking that, we're going to beat them up by 30. And then all of a sudden, Russell Wilson actually has a good game. The Chiefs have a couple fuck ups. And then all of a sudden, the game's a little bit closer than people anticipated. But I did tell a couple of my Bronco fans, I said, it might be a blowout where you end up winning by, 10, 14, 17, 20. But again, if we can get anything out of the Denver defense tonight, right, there is a possibility that it could be as low as 24-20. I hope it's not, because I want fantasy points, but I just don't know if the Bronco defense can make any plays. I think the Broncos can score and go back and forth with the Chiefs, but what happens when the Chiefs start imposing their will? Can you stop it? And I'm not sure. But so far, so good for Denver there. And also, too, you got to think that the Chiefs haven't really, looked the same like championship caliber team, going into this season. No Bieniemy, no Juju. The receiver, wide receiver room isn't as good. It just feels like everything is a little off. They're still winning games ugly, and they're still the best team in the AFC, but I don't think anyone's afraid of Kansas City this year, including Buffalo and Miami. And that's me not hating. That's just me with an observation. Good tackle. There we go. Casey in the building. What's good? Yeah, I would assume that we'll lose to the Lions, but we are wearing our creamsicles, though. And if anytime we wear the creamsicles, and I'll be wearing my Doug Williams sewn creamsicle jersey on Sunday, I will be calling the game. We have a shot. I mean, like I said, the Seahawks, Lions, and Bucks are all right neck and neck with each other, looking up at the Niners and Eagles. So it's not like the Lions are so much better than the Seahawks or Bucks. Like, I do think that they are the third best team, but not by much. So we'll see. If we win the game, great. If we don't win, congratulations to the Lions. They deserve it. They've been terrible, a lovable loser for the last 20 years. I always like rooting for them. And if they beat the Bucks, good. I don't have any complaints if we end up losing to them, but don't be shocked if Baker plays well. Really, the key is going to be Mike Evans. And it looks like with his hammy, oh, baby, what a run. First down, Broncos, move the chains. Because if we don't have Mike Williams, we're going to lose. Mike Evans, excuse me. So if we don't have Mike Evans, we're going to lose. You can have Godwin out there. You can end up having Rachaad White. But if you don't have Mike Evans, and if Mike Evans isn't healthy, that's going to be the kind of deciding factor. Amon-Ra is also injured, but he's off the injury bug report now. So if they have a majority of their lineup healthy, and if I got, Mike Evans out, definitely the advantage is going to go, to Detroit. Now, if Mike Evans was healthy, then I would say it's going to be 50-50. But since he's not, and it doesn't look like he's going to play, yeah, I would say that the Lions will probably end up winning the game. So I'm not delusional. I know what's up. Let's go, baby. But this is definitely a trap game. Anytime that, you get the Chiefs playing the Chargers, Broncos, or Raiders, especially the Raiders and Broncos, you just assume, they're dog shit. They're terrible. They're not going to do anything. Look at the offense. Russell's looking pretty good. The offense is flowing. That's not the problem. If you watch Denver this year, the offense actually has been pretty good. It's a defense that's losing the games for them. And honestly, if they had any kind of defense, Denver would have a couple more wins this season. Big facts.
This year, very physical. A lot of these guys, their second year experience in the system. Identify things.
You gotta monitor the injury report, and go through. But it hurts because in fantasy, I mean, I got Keenan Allen, I got Mike Evans, Amon-Ra, and Jay Jetta, and I banked everything off wide receivers. 3rd down and 7. Oh, baby, there's the defense. Oh, how did he get out of that? No way. Look at Russ. Wow, that was very Seattle Seahawk-like. Didn't get the first down, but he didn't get the sack lunch. He looks healthy. He looks confident. Sometimes delusional. We know that, obviously thinking that maybe he's better than he really is. But, he is better this season. And obviously the Chiefs are worse. So the Broncos defense is worse, but the Chiefs overall are worse. And the Denver offense is 1,000 times better than it was last year. 4th down and 3. Gutsy call here on the road. But if you were going to play Kansas City, and this would be the year to do it, they definitely are not a team that anybody fears anymore. I don't think Buffalo fears them. They're just disappointed with all the injuries at Tre'Davious White, and obviously with Milano. It's like they got a lot of guys that are out for the year. And I actually was thinking, this might be the year that Buffalo gets past Kansas City. But now with those defensive injuries, it's all a push. Like, who's going to come out? Probably Kansas City now by default, even if they aren't as good as they were in the last 3 years because of Buffalo's injuries on defense. I know they can go toe-to-toe back and forth with the offenses, but if Buffalo's defense is already kind of suspect, and then you lose more and more starters, how long are they going to be able to hold on? There's going to be some certain shootouts with like Miami and Kansas City where you might end up not winning those matchups, but it's anybody's division in the AFC. And on the NFC side, I would assume it's going to be Philadelphia or San Francisco. I would be shocked if it's anybody else. But then there's a few teams right below them, Seattle, Detroit, Tampa, that I feel that, could make a little bit of noise. And then the Packers and Cowboys are frauds. Those guys are pretenders, not contenders. 4th down and 3, shotgun set for Russ. Pressure off the edge. Avoids a sack lunch. Good tackle. Hairball in the building. What's good? Reflect with a 5. Appreciate you. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $5 holla. $10 hairs. Let's get to a hundo. Let's do it. Okay, no problem. I'll be watching as well. Oh, absolutely. They can talk all the shit that they want, but, Sean Payton can't go out there and fucking play defense. He's going to call plays, and Russell Wilson's stats are good. It's not like Russell Wilson got 2 touchdowns and 11 picks, and he's like, oh, Nathaniel Hackett is so much better. Let's be honest. Nathaniel Hackett is a garbage head coach. Is he a good play caller? Yeah. He's probably one of the, top 20, play callers in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers loves him. Fuck it. If you want to go to the Jets, good for you. Go over there. But no one's giving Hackett a fucking coaching job ever again. Now, Sean Payton, coach for the Saints. And obviously you have to realize this isn't Drew Brees. This is a different type of quarterback. But he has helped, with some of the issues. But also Denver, just like probably maybe the Chargers, always every year, running back, wide receivers, tight ends, offensive line, always get hurt. They never can stay healthy. And then usually the defensive players get hurt also. So it's like I feel that the Chargers and Broncos are cursed by injuries every year. But if the defense could actually just step up, and you can get players like Simmons and Patrick Surtain. Now, if you had Von Miller and Bradley Chubb still there and they were healthy, then we actually have a battle here tonight. But you never know. There might be some kind of, crazy X factor, kickoff return for a touchdown for Denver, punt return, punt block, maybe a punch out on one of the shaky wide receivers for Kansas City. Maybe they punch it out from Pacheco or McKinnon. But as long as Denver, can keep moving the football and bleed the clock out and get a couple opportunities in the red zone, we'll see what happens. But I definitely think that, it could be two ways. Like I said, it could be a blowout or Denver could end up, keeping it a little bit closer than people think. Yeah, the defense is the problem. The offense is not the problem. So, and if you really look at it, with the players that they have, with the running backs that they have, with Denver, they're not the greatest, but they're not terrible. Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton aren't terrible receivers. If you put them on another team, they could produce if you actually give them the ball. Right, Dulcich is nice, but he's on IR. So it's really the offensive line for Denver that needs kind of a rebuild. They have been drafting offensive line for the last couple of years, but it really hasn't come together yet, right? And then the defense needs an overhaul. That's really the main problem that I've been seeing this year with Denver. The offensive line at times plays good, but at times is suspect. But overall, they've been pretty good. And I would say that really the blame isn't Sean Payton or Russell Wilson. It's been the defense. Big facts. Because they've been in quite a few games. They haven't really gotten smoked besides that Miami game. That one was, ugly, and then they gave up. You know what I'm saying? But let's be honest. I mean, what players does Denver have other than Simmons and Patrick Surtain that you can name right now that are actually like legit that you would want on your team? You can't name one. They don't need Jerry Jeudy. Why would they need Jerry Jeudy? You already got Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds is better. Josh Reynolds has got good hands. He's a good route runner. He's underrated. You know, you don't need any fucking other wide receivers. Mahomes. There we go. Oh, little flip. First down, Chiefs. Move the chains. All right, I need some fantasy points. Lions' offensive line is good. Their defensive line is good. You know, you got Amon-Ra, you got Josh Reynolds, you got Montgomery and Gibbs. Goff is awesome. You know, you got all the pieces there. They don't need. And you're just getting back Jamison Williams, too. There's no room, you know, for Jerry Jeudy. Why would they even be interested in someone like that? They wouldn't be. What, they're going to give up draft capital when they could use that on defense next year or on the offensive line for a guy that's probably going to get hurt in a couple weeks? Fuck no. That would be stupid for them to try to take on someone's contract like that. Not for Detroit. Detroit already has a good team. There we go. Let's go, Reflect. I mean, Casey, you might be a Lions fan, but just because I'm not a Lions fan doesn't mean I don't know anything about the Detroit Lions or any other 31 teams in the NFL. I mean, I treat every team as if they were my own, you know, and I try to look at it from that GM and head coach perspective. And yeah, they don't need it, you know, because obviously you're going to want to be able to use those very precious draft picks and capital, you know, going into next year to keep beefing up the line and keep beefing up the defense. Like one room that you could improve on is that secondary room. You know, obviously getting a little bit more linebacker help would help as well. But the Lions, if you added a few more linebackers and a few more secondary pieces, then that's going to make them even more dangerous. Or even another guy up front on the D line. So, big facts. Oh, incomplete. Batted down. Now, I mean, obviously getting a Jeudy, you know, would be another piece, but then obviously that would mean what? Josh Reynolds and Jamison Williams and Gibbs, a lot of these other guys, his touches would go down. And I don't think you want to mess up a good thing. You know what I mean? If they want to have him go to the Colts, you know, fine. Panthers, fine. I mean, if any team needs him, it's probably Carolina. You know, Carolina needs all the help that they can get with Bryce Young. Everyone's already calling him a bust, and it's way too early to say that. They don't have good supporting cast. Unless you guys think Adam Thielen is good. I mean, he's been playing good in fantasy, but that's not who you want as your number one receiver. Colts could use him, but do you really want to give up the draft picks or the collateral to get him in a season where you're not going to make the playoffs? You know, and we got to make sure that Richardson can stay healthy. It seems like health will be the biggest concern for him. So CJ Stroud will end up being the best quarterback out of the three. Richardson probably two. And until Bryce Young can get good supporting cast, then he'll be in that third spot. 3rd down and 3. Come on, Mahomes. I need fantasy points, baby. Shotgun set. Mahomes. Batted down again. Come on, Patrick. Cyberpunk with the share. Thank you so much on the Twitter and X. And hopefully we can get some goats to come through. $10. 90 to go. Bills to pay. Harrison Butker. Kick is up, and it's good. 3-0 Chiefs. Trap game, like I told y'all, man. You know, it's like, you know, even take the records out. Anyone that's in the same division, you know, you already know, you know, it's like it don't matter if it's like the Bucks are playing the Panthers or the Falcons. Like, oh, it's going to be an easy win. And a lot of times, you know, the records get thrown out of the window. You can have a 4-0 team go against an 0-4 or a 1-3 and assume that you're going to bring your best game. But, you know, just like in sports, sometimes you play up to the competition. Sometimes you play down to the competition. And other times that you look past your opponent and you're looking towards next week. And if you're already looking towards next week, that shitty team that you're playing might punch you in the mouth or end up making a lucky play. And if they get a lucky play on you, sometimes that's good enough to end up stealing a game from a team that is better than you, like the Kansas City Chiefs. So. Yeah, but also, too, the offensive line stinks. The head coach stinks. The OC stinks. The wide receivers, I don't want to say they stink because Adam Thielen actually has been doing pretty good. They need better tight ends, better defense. I mean, they don't really have anything. So, I mean, if you put C.J. Stroud in the same situation, they would be saying the same thing. There might be some throws that C.J. was able to make that Bryce, didn't make at this point. Same thing with Richardson, but it's all about supporting cast. You know what I mean? You got to be able to have a good supporting cast around you. Like if you would have put Bryce Young on the 49ers, right? Would he be playing the same type of way that he's playing with Carolina? No. Would he be better than Brock Purdy? No. But he would be playing much, much better. So a lot of times you just have to understand it's not just your own skill set, but it's getting mentored. It's getting a good coach to teach you, good offensive coordinator, playing to your strengths, having good receivers catch the ball. Right? Good tight end, good offensive line blocking for you. And if you don't really have all those things, how can you expect, someone to be like lights out right away when the team got the first pick in the draft? Obviously, they got the first pick in the draft because the team is terrible. It's going to take a couple of years for that to get turned around, to ride that ship out. So, if CJ was there, he'd be fucking struggling, and people would say, oh, CJ's a bust. Or if Richardson was there, they'd be like, Richardson's a bust. But we know that, you got to be able to have that fair shot to show what you got with good people around you. Then you can make the evaluation. It's like you got dog shit all around you. You put Patrick Mahomes on the Panthers. How many games are they winning? Like 5? And that's probably the most that they could win with any quarterback. So think about that for a second. They're not going to be able to win with that team right now. They got to make a lot of different changes to turn that fucking ship around. I mean, even with Patrick Mahomes on the Panthers, you're only probably winning, and this is Patrick Mahomes playing beast mode, probably only 5 or 6 games at the most. I don't even think you could win 7. I don't even think you can go 7-10 with that roster, even with Mahomes there. I'm thinking probably like 5 wins, and I think Mahomes is amazing, so. Yeah, they made the wrong pick. If it was me, I think that going for Richardson or C.J. Stroud would have been the better pick. In the draft, I think they picked the wrong player. That's my personal opinion. He's too small. And I don't think he's got the swagger or the confidence to do it. Like you might have been able to do it in college, but this is the big boys, and I think C.J. is smarter, and I think Richardson has the bigger and a better frame. There we go, big hole, first down, Broncos. But Richardson is injury prone. Bryce is too small. CJ is perfect. He's smart. He goes through his reads. He, I think, is the best one out of the 3. And then going down the road, he'll be really the only franchise quarterback I feel left out of the 3, just because I fear that Richardson won't be able to stay healthy for his career. I feel that he's going to get beat up a lot, and he's got a nice frame, but every hit he takes, when he tries to run the football, most quarterbacks end up having their careers cut short unless he's able to stay in the pocket. And I don't think Richardson's that type of quarterback. He's going to want to try to make plays with his legs as well. Intercepted. It's a pick party. It's a pick party. Nick Bolton. It's a pick party. It's a pick party. Let's go. Yeah, but I mean, obviously no one thought that Chicago would be this bad for them to potentially have the first and second pick. I mean, if they did decide to go to Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., that wouldn't be smart either. Like if the Chicago Bears end up getting the first and second pick, what they should do, is trying to be able to get as many great players as possible. And I'm not really sure, going that route would be the smartest. If you want to keep Fields, get the best offensive lineman, a guy that could be a Hall of Famer in the draft. You got to be able to try to get one of those. And then obviously a leader on the defense. Once you have a Brian Urlacher, once you have a Roquan Smith, once you have a Khalil Mack, it changes everything. So obviously picking a guy that high, and just going quarterback, wide receiver to me would be stupid because the offensive line still for the Bears stinks. The defense stinks. So you're still going to lose games. So, I mean, you got to be able to get a lot of defensive players, but they need a defensive leader, first and foremost, and they need, 5 new linemen up front. And if you actually drafted linemen and defense and didn't worry about Marvin Harrison Jr., that would make their team better instead of getting Marvin Harrison Jr. and thinking that's going to solve all the problems. Their problems are on the O-line and the defense. You fix that first. Eventually, you'll get a guy like a Marvin later. Maybe not in this upcoming draft, but later in free agency or in the draft in the future. That's what's going to make Chicago good. But are they going to do that? Who knows? Now you have to make a decision if you want to trade Justin Fields away, or if you're going to build around him. And I guess we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the season goes. But, if you bring in Caleb and then you bring in Marvin Harrison Jr., what do you think? Those two pieces with a garbage O-line, garbage coach, garbage defense, all of a sudden magically that's going to turn it around? Hell no. But if they want to be stupid, then that's what they're going to do. But I don't know. I mean, at times Justin Fields looks good. At times he looks bad. But Caleb isn't going to look very good there if he doesn't have an offensive line or a good defense. He might be more naturally talented as a quarterback than Justin Fields. I'll agree to that. He looks like he's more NFL ready and he can make more plays. But if you don't got an O-line or a defense, I mean, you're still going to be losing, 10, 11, 12 games. You're not going to be able to turn that shit around. Only Russ's third pick of the season, 11 touchdowns, 2 picks. Shotgun set, little play action to Pacheco. There we go, baby. Give me some fantasy points. Me and reflect. First down, Chiefs. Let's go. We need some fantasy points, baby. But one thing that, what I will say is that regardless of who Carolina picked, they would say that person's a bust. If CJ was there, they would be saying the same thing about Bryce. He's a bust. If Richardson was there, they'd say he's a bust. And it's because of the supporting cast and the coaching. But again, now if everyone was on the Texans, right, people would be like, ooh, Richardson, Texans, ooh, Bryce Young on the Texans, ooh, But right now, as far as development and being smart, and having the brains of the operation and being able to go through the motions, CJ is the best one out of the three. It's clear. He processes the information on another level. Bryce is still very nervous out there. He's not playing natural. He's thinking about the plays too much. And I would be too if the fucking offensive line didn't exist.
On the play 3, second and 13. And the edge of this defense has been a problem. It's something that Vance Joseph has really emphasized this week, obviously going up against this quick-hitting offense. They love to get the ball on the perimeter. Russ, of course, hoping that this defense holds up again in the red zone and forces the field goal.
Shotgun set from Mahomes. Good protection. There we go. Little check down to Pacheco.
Third down and 8 for a gain of 5. This is a team that has struggled with missed tackles most in the NFL. And right now, they short week, couple series in, everybody kind of getting their feet.
All right, Kraken and Nashville Predators still at 0-0.
See if they get pressure on Mahomes here on third down.
Third down and 8. I need fantasy points, Mahomes. I need touchdowns. I already lost last week with all my guys fucking hurt and on a bye. I can't lose 2 games in a row, and I know I'm going against the number 1 team. I got to win this. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Idiot. What the fuck is that, Mahomes, you dumbass? Jesus Christ. And one of the best players that they shouldn't trade away is Simmons. If you're in the pocket and you're sitting there, that is exactly what you don't want to do. And that's why I'm telling y'all, Kansas City is not as good as they were in the last 3 to 4 years. This team is beatable. All right, they have weaknesses. They're not as strong. Bieniemy, Juju, if you want to act like those guys don't matter, fine. But look at the football that we're getting. It's not Kansas City Chief football. Would have Mahomes done that last year or the year before? He's got an internal clock. 1, 2, 3, get rid of it. You're sitting in there for 6 seconds. Throw the ball away. And that's why I thought Buffalo could end up winning the AFC this year. But now with those defensive injuries, it's going to make it harder. But I don't know if Kansas City is the best team in the AFC. I might still be leaning towards Buffalo. Like, even with the injuries that they have, I feel a little bit more confident watching Buffalo. Now, I don't know if I would say Miami over Kansas City. That might be a stretch because Miami's defense is very suspect, even more suspect than Kansas City's. So I feel like the offense with the speedsters is nice, but Tua can be stopped, with Tyreek and Waddle. Like, you just have to have a good game plan. But at this point, it's going to be a 3-team race, but I might have to go Buffalo 1, Kansas City 2, and then Miami 3. But for now, it's still Kansas City 1. But we got to make sure they get this dub. You cannot lose to the Denver Broncos. Big facts. Trap game. Had a feeling it would be a trap game. My gut feelings usually aren't wrong too often. And what did I say? Maybe the Broncos play a little bit better than anticipated, right? And maybe Kansas City, right, which we never have doubts of, maybe Mahomes doesn't play very good. Right? Maybe he throws a couple picks. Maybe Denver gets lucky with a couple plays, with a couple punch outs, or maybe they get a special teams touchdown. Any little thing to get the advantage, But again, I have not been impressed with Kansas City and, Buffalo's with their injuries on defense and no defense on Miami. It just feels like, the Lombardi is going to come home to the NFC this year. It should be the Eagles or the Niners, especially with these other teams, having a lot of these holes in their game. But things could improve, as the season goes along. But one thing is for sure, Buffalo isn't getting back Tre'Davious White. Buffalo is not getting back Matt Milano. So it's got to be next man up. And I don't know how that's going to work. But if it's Buffalo and Kansas City going one-on-one offensively, it could go either way. Same thing with Miami and Kansas City if they play in the playoffs. It could go either way. Offensively, they're both great, but this is stupid right here. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're throwing into triple coverage. This is not Patrick Mahomes. I got him in fantasy. If I knew he was going to play like this, I wouldn't have picked him. If I knew Kansas City was going to play like this, I would have picked Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. I would have not picked Patrick Mahomes. You live and you learn, I guess. Five likes to 20. Let's get 5 more, baby. Toby in the building. What's good? The Jags are a good team that could make the playoffs and win the AFC South, but can they win multiple games in the playoffs? That's the real question. Maybe they can get to the playoffs and win one game, or maybe they get to the playoffs and they lose that first game, but I don't think they're good enough yet to be able to go to the AFC Championship game. Baby steps, my friend. Duval, but they should win the AFC South, either the Texans or the Jags this year. Nice. Oh, fumble. Maybe his arm was down there. Well, because they're not good enough yet. I'll talk about them, when they need to be talked about, but again, you have the ability to, beat on the Buffalo Bills, and that was a big win in London, but I'm not sure, ETN isn't consistent. Lawrence isn't consistent. It's like, I know you got Ridley in there. I do like some of the defensive, players that you have there, but this could be a year, though, that for the Jags where they upset Buffalo, Kansas City, or Miami. I will give you that because the AFC's weak this year. So I definitely could see if there was a team that no one is talking about that could beat one of the top 3 teams, the Chiefs, the Bills, or the Dolphins, I would say the Jags are the first team that could do it. So I'll give you that love and I'll give you that props. We just need to see a little bit more consistency out of Trevor Lawrence, ETN, Calvin Ridley, the offensive line, and specifically the defense. Braves and Phillies still knotted up at 0. 3rd down and 1. Come on, Mahomes. Don't you know I'm fucking riding with you? Let's go. I could have put CJ Stroud in for you. 3-0 Kansas City. And, and like I said, with Odin, a lot of Chiefs fans, I don't know if they're in denial mode, right now, and just be like, oh, we're still good. But I mean, are you really though? Just not being biased. You can be a Chief fan, but you can be critical of Mahomes and how the team is playing, but I just feel like a lot of Chiefs fans are like, okay, we're still the best team in the AFC, but you don't look the same. You know what I mean? And that's not me being a hater. It's just observing. This team does not look the same as it has been in the last 3 to 4 years. There's a lot of chinks in the armor and a lot of, flat tires, on the car. I mean, it does not look like a smooth offense. The defense doesn't look as good, and plus, it helps them that Miami doesn't have a D. Maybe the Jags aren't there yet. Buffalo has all these key injuries on defense, but you can still be first place in the AFC, but they don't look like they can, win multiple games in the playoffs right now. Not to me. And they don't look like they can beat the Niners or the Eagles. Not right now. So you could win the AFC by default, but can you win the Super Bowl? And so far, it ain't looking like a Super Bowl caliber team to me. But like I said, but I wouldn't necessarily say that Miami is or Buffalo is either. But if I had to choose one team, I probably would say Buffalo. Buffalo, to me, looks like the most well-rounded, even with the injuries on defense, to me, so far this season in the AFC. And then Kansas City right there with them, and then Miami. And then who knows, maybe the Jags will creep up. But AFC is ass this year. They don't look good. That's just being honest. So the NFC looks amazing. I mean, hell, it could be one of those things that if you had, like the Seahawks, the Buccaneers, and the Lions, they might be able to beat the Chiefs and the Bills and the Dolphins and the Jags. Like, I feel like the NFC top 5 teams, all of them, could beat any of the teams in the AFC. Now, I know some games would be closer than others, but I feel like the way that the Bucs have been playing, the Seahawks and the Lions, would they be able to beat every team? Bills, Dolphins, Chiefs? Probably not. But if they played one of those 3 teams, or maybe 2, I wouldn't be shocked at this point if the Seahawks or the Buccaneers or the Lions, played the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Dolphins, and maybe those NFC teams that people are taking for granted are actually better than the top teams in the AFC. Just an observation. There's just the NFC teams are playing better football, and the NFC teams are more well-rounded. AFC teams, they don't have a defense. They have Hall of Fame quarterbacks. NFC teams have balance. Offense, defense, special teams, and that's really what you're going to need. And that's why the Eagles should have won the Super Bowl last year, but they didn't get any sacks or any picks. And if that happens with Mahomes, he's going to rip you apart. And even though the game was very, very close, all that was needed from Philadelphia, 2 sacks, 1 pick. And that probably would have been enough for them to win the Super Bowl, but they couldn't even do that. So you still got to give Chiefs credit because Mahomes is amazing. Andy Reid and Bieniemy were amazing. Chris Jones is amazing. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the AFC is on the same playing field as the NFC teams to me right now. Now we can say, oh, the Chiefs and the Bills and the Dolphins, they're popular, right? But popular doesn't win you a football game. You're like, oh, yeah, Chiefs, Bills, Dolphins would smoke the Seahawks, Lions, and Bucks. Would they? Like, honestly, would they? Yeah, maybe Seahawks, Lions, and Bucks are lower name teams, but that doesn't mean that they can't go in there and play better football. Just an observation. Now, if we're talking about like the Cowboys and Packers, yeah, those are frauds. Absolutely fraud city, right? Those guys, those guys are terrible. Those guys are not on the same category as the top 5 in the NFC. And with that being said, Packers and Broncos, no. Packers and Cowboys, they could still make the playoffs, but they're not going to win. They'll go if they go with like, maybe 9-10 wins, and then they'll get the, break speed off of them in that first round or in that wild card. So. Yeah, but even if Chris Jones, right, didn't miss time, and even if Kelsey, was 100%, like, if you actually watch these Chiefs games, they don't really look good. They're not intimidating. They're like getting wins ugly, and a win is a win, but it's not like intimidating. Nobody is intimidated by this team anymore. Whether that's because the wide receiving core isn't as good, Juju's not there, Bieniemy's not there. There's a lot of different factors that you can say, and even though, like also with Cyberpunk, he's like, well, what has Juju done on New England or what's Bieniemy done for Washington? I'm just saying, if Juju was playing in Kansas City, that wide receiver room would be better. And if Bieniemy was there with Andy Reid, I think the play calling would be better. I don't think it's that crazy to think that if you still had those pieces there, would it have solved all these problems that we're seeing? You know what I mean? Because last year, if we're playing this game, is the game 3-0 after the first quarter? Fuck no. The score is like 17-0, And that's what makes me a little nervous about Buffalo, Kansas City, and Miami this year. I just, the defenses are non-existent. Besides like Chris Jones, obviously he can change a game. Buffalo's defense is fucking beat up and injured. No Milano, no Tre'Davious White. That's huge. Can't really replace those players. And Miami doesn't really have a defense. I mean, they do, but they don't really play consistently, on that side of the ball every game. They just try to have Tyreek and Waddle and Tua outscore the opponent with great Mike McDaniel play calling. So 10 doll hairs, 90 to go. Yeah, but again, I think a lot of people take like my takes or my observations personally. I just try to keep it real no matter what team I'm talking about, whether the Buccaneers are good or the Buccaneers are ass, or if I'm talking about the Chiefs or the Seahawks or the Lions or the Patriots or the Cowboys. It's just that I look at it, I watch the film, I read, and I watch the games, and I have an observation, and this is how I feel, It's not a personal attack against Chiefs fans, but if you can really look at yourself in the mirror, and if I say the Chiefs don't look good this year and you think I'm a liar or I'm a hater, I mean, what football game are you fucking watching? I mean, I know I've watched Mahomes from the very, very beginning, and this is nothing like what I'm used to seeing. I wouldn't have drafted Patrick Mahomes in fantasy in the 3rd round if I thought that he was going to play like this season. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable, period. Not when you're supposed to be the best quarterback in the National Football League. Just saying. Constructive criticism, but a lot of people will take my opinions and takes as an attack, and it's not meant to be an attack. It's just me being honest on how I feel. I got nothing to gain. I'm not on anybody's payroll. No one is paying me. I'm not Aaron Rodgers getting paid $1 million to be on Pat McAfee show. All right. I'm always going to keep it 100, regardless if I'm being paid or not. Some things are going to be good for certain teams and some things aren't. But again, if we can address those problems and then get back to where we need to be, then, you'll see the holes. We can't act like a team is a championship caliber team when they got 10 holes on the team. And we just try to act like they don't exist. And then you look at the scoreboard and it's fucking 3-0 when it should be like 17-0. Come on, Pat. You're fucking me over in fantasy, dog. And then moving forward, I might not even pick Patrick Mahomes ever again. I might end up going Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen, because I don't know if I can trust him. And it's all fine and dandy when you're beating up on the shitty AFC and you can win 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games. But what happens when you actually play the good teams in the NFL that are in the NFC? Let me see how you stack up to those teams. And I guarantee you're not winning as many games in the NFC side than you are. Like if you had the Chiefs in the NFC, what do you actually think that they would be record-wise? Honestly, they're not first or second place. I'll tell you that, because the Niners and the fucking Eagles are light years ahead of them. But hopefully they can turn it around. Come on, Pat. 2nd down and 5. Come on, holding on the offensive line, dummies. And I feel Mahomes' decision-making has been terrible this year. Yeah, if I had to make my prediction with the Super Bowl, I still think Bills, Niners, and then if it's not that, Bills, Eagles. I don't see it any other way, but we'll see. There's, we play the games to watch and see what happens. So. Oh, I'm absolutely pleased with how the Broncos are playing. I think your Broncos are playing awesome. Like I said, it's not Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. It's not them. It's nobody on the offense. At times, the O-line has been a little suspect. It's a Denver Broncos. What do you expect? But it's the defense, right? So if you can just get any kind of defensive effort, right, then the game ends up like if the defense was playing like they did against Miami, the score would be 17-0 right now. But obviously they know that the Broncos hate the Chiefs. The Chiefs hate the Broncos, right? The records go out the window, and they have something to play for. This is the Broncos Super Bowl tonight. That's how they're approaching it. With the Chiefs, they're just trying to win a game. So the mindset is different. Like, this is a must-win game for Denver. If the Chiefs lose it, it's like, meh, not a big deal, even though it is, because you don't want to lose to Denver. But it's not like they're playing with a sense of urgency where I need to win this game. It's like we hope that we get enough and we skate by. That's my kind of feeling. There we go. But it's kind of funny with no Juju and Bieniemy, those two simple pieces. You're like, oh, it doesn't matter. Well, the team doesn't look the same without them. You know what I mean? And maybe they're not doing as good of things that they were doing in Kansas City with Juju going to New England, where no one fucking does anything. And I think Bieniemy has been making strides in Washington with Riverboat Ron. But I'm just saying, if you had those guys there, the wide receiver room is 10 times better than it is, because I don't trust Kadarius Toney. Sky Moore, he's okay, but it's not like, oh my God, we have to keep this guy on the roster. Like, I think the wide receiver room for Kansas City is kind of shitty, to be honest. You know, it's like you got Travis Kelce, and I like that. I like Pacheco. I like McKinnon. You know what I mean? But other than that, is there really honestly anyone that is like, oh my God, we have to keep this guy in Kansas City for life? There isn't. You know, and if you act like there is, then obviously, you know, that's maybe a little delusional. It's like the players, you know, Noah Gray, Justin Watson, everything was working when you had Bieniemy and Andy. Now one of them's gone and Juju's gone, and now the wide receiver and that offense, instead of being like a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, it looks like a fucking 7. It looks like a 6. You know, and that's just observation. It's not just this game, all year. So obviously it's not the same. You know, offensive line is pretty much the same. Defense is pretty much the same. What's missing? Juju and Bieniemy, and obviously it's mattering a little bit more than people are actually giving it credit for. You know, now if you were able to score as many points and other guys were stepping up, fine. But all I see is drop passes, shitty routes, and guys that I can't trust at the wide receiver. I trust Travis Kelce ultimately 100%. You know, Mahomes most of the time. But, you know, other than that, like, you know, dinking and doinking to these like role player, you know, guys, I don't know. I don't trust them. Especially if they have to be the focal point. Remember when Travis Kelce was out? How shitty did they look on offense? Like, they didn't even look like a playoff team. So, you know, that's an observation. They need to be able to get better wide receivers in the room, whether that means, you know, bringing in a Mike Evans. That would solve the problem, you know, getting someone like that. So that way you have a Pacheco and a McKinnon. You have a Travis Kelce, but you need a true number one at receiver, and they were able to get away with it all these years, right? But now it's finally caught up to kind of bite them a little bit, where if Kelce gets hurt or he's banged up, they're fucked. You know what I mean? Because you can't count on anyone else to really step up consistently. You know, can some guys step up for like a game? Yeah. But do you really trust Sky Moore or Justin Watson or Noah Gray? Fuck no. At least I don't. You know, if I was a Chief fan, I wouldn't trust that. At that point, I would just rather have Mahomes running in touchdowns by himself, you know, run an RPO or hand it off to Pacheco and McKinnon. I trust those guys. I trust the running backs. I trust Kelce, but I don't really trust Mahomes this year or that wide receiving core. You know, I really don't. And that's why they're still winning games, but this is the ugliest Kansas City Chief team we've seen in the Mahomes-Kelce era. I'm almost like, who is this? I'm not used to what I'm watching. Incomplete. Michael in the building. What's good? Yes. You know it. Orion Pictures, you know, Transformers, Men in Black, you know, Orion, man. That's where they say that, you know, even if there's like, you know, extraterrestrials and any kind of life before us, that, you know, it came towards Orion. So look at this. 4th and 2 with the fake. Inverted tush push on the fake field goal. I'm just blessed my parents didn't name me Ryan or Brian. Nothing wrong with that, you know, but turnover on downs. What is this stupid shit? Andy Reid thinking that he can call the plays like he could with him and Bieniemy. It ain't the same. You know, at some point, Chief fans have to understand I'm not trying to, you know, have a personal attack. It's just I'm watching the games, and this is what it is. The team is not as good without those guys there. You know, and at some point, you know, and it's not like they are terrible and they're 1-4. They're 4-1, but it's the ugliest 4-1 I've ever seen. Should have took the points there. And I think Andy Reid is fantastic. You know what I mean? But I think like when even Cyberpunk and a few other people, they felt like, oh, Bieniemy, and Juju, whatever. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? But you don't want to act like guys that you've loved and supported help you win, and then you just throw them out the door like trash, like they don't matter. Those guys matter, apparently. You know what I mean? I don't just say shit to say shit. But, and once you go to the Super Bowl, you typically don't go back. But if you had to choose between the Chiefs and the Eagles going back again, it definitely isn't Kansas City. Unless things drastically improve, and I just don't think they're going to. But they still might be able to get there just because of the injuries with Buffalo. Miami don't have a defense. And then who else would actually be in the running in the AFC? All the other teams are kind of dog shit. Like some of them are okay, like the Jags. But I mean, it's like, who else are you going to bank on? What the fucking Bengals or the Ravens or the Browns or who else? Like who else actually is really a legitimate threat to Kansas City besides Buffalo, Miami, and Jacksonville? Maybe the Texans if they can end up getting their shit together and they make the playoffs, but everything will be brand new for CJ. So it's like AFC is the weakest it's ever been. Or even your favorite player to score. All you got to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Herbert, Allen, Hurts, Fields, Cousins, Brock. Yeah. If I would have known that it was going to be this bad, I would have never picked Patrick Mahomes. I wouldn't have. I would have probably went Jalen Hurts. And then if he was gone, then I would have did Josh Allen. But sometimes you got to live and you got to learn, and sometimes you make mistakes. It's like with Sarah in fantasy. Me and her were the number 1 and number 2 team all year last year. She doesn't even have a win yet, which is crazy. But it shows you if you don't draft well or you have injuries, you can go from being a team that's normally 5-0, and then all of a sudden you're looking up and you're like, am I even going to win a game this year? And it's not like Sarah doesn't know football. We know she does, but that's how fantasy works sometimes. If you have a bad draft, and you don't pick up guys in the first 3 weeks, or you have injuries, all things can compile, and then all of a sudden you're sitting at 0 or 1 win, and you're like, shit, I'm not going to make the playoffs this year. But this is not good. Not good. Well, next year they will. Next year, Brock Purdy will be one of the top 6 guys picked at quarterback. Thanks a lot, Mahomes. Fucking me over. Like at this rate, man. It's like I'm trying to go to the playoffs and do championship things, and 2.4 points, 110 yards and a pick. I almost kind of felt like it was going to happen. Like, even in the pregame, like I said, 24-20, like the Kansas City Chiefs might still end up winning this game, but it could end up going either blowout or the Broncos play better than anticipated and the Chiefs get exposed. And that's what we're seeing. And it's not like I get pleasure out of fucking, seeing the Chiefs fucking struggle, especially when I have Mahomes in fantasy. It's like, it's fucking gut-wrenching for me. Yeah, Finley, you and Sarah took Burrow. Anyone that took Burrow right now has 0 wins or like 1 win, almost across the board in fantasy. Because especially if you're taking that player in the 3rd round, that means that you didn't end up getting an elite wide receiver or running back at that spot. And, that'll be a killer. But Burrow started to heat up with Jamar last week, and maybe he'll turn it around. I think he's going to start to do that. Tipped, incomplete. Good defense there. Odin, it's a divisional game, but let's also be honest with ourselves that the Chiefs don't really look good this year. Right? You guys can still be 4-1 or 5-1, but this is the weakest the Chiefs have looked in the Mahomes era. And you're at home. You know what I'm saying? A lot of tip passes, a lot of arid picks, throwing into double, triple coverage. Mahomes is doing things that he normally never does. The last time I seen him play like this was at Texas Tech, not in Kansas City. You know what I mean? So again, it's not a personal attack, but again, it's something that needs to be, talked about and realized. Yeah, it's a divisional matchup, but with that being said, when's the last time it was 3-0 with 6 minutes left against Denver at home? Honestly, not a good look. I hope that it improves, but it's not like the Denver's defense is amazing. Denver's defense is one of the worst in the league. So if they're one of the worst in the league, and you only have 3 points against them, then what does that mean about Kansas City's offense? It's kind of bootios. It's kind of not good. And I don't like saying that because I got him in fantasy, but it's the truth. Wide receiving core is not good. You guys need a true number one receiver like a Mike Evans, and that would definitely make things better. But again, if I say that to other Chiefs fans and they're going to, say I'm a hater, I'm being an asshole, you know what I mean? I don't know what I'm talking about. People take their teams and their players so fucking seriously, but we got to be able to have honest criticism about our teams. I give them the praise when things are going good, but people got to be able to take the criticism too when it's actual honest criticism, But I hope that it does get turned around. And, it's just unacceptable to be throwing interceptions the way that he did. You're holding onto the ball way too long. It's not like you're going against the San Francisco or Eagle defense, and then you're making these bad throws, arid throws. You're going against one of the worst teams in the NFL. 3 points? Fuck me, dude. I'm telling you, the Juju and Bieniemy thing, whether Chief fans want to admit it or not, that is a big, big deal. But most people say, nah, not a big deal. We're still 4-1. We're 5-1. We're going to win the AFC because the Bills defense is injured and Miami doesn't have a D. We're still number one. That may be true, but if you make it to the Super Bowl, you're going to get fucking crushed. It's not like you're going to win it this year. You might get there by default because of the Bills injuries and shitty Dolphin defense, but you're not going to win it this year. That's an honest observation. So if I was Kansas City, I would try to get if I was them, getting like a Jerry Jeudy, type of person, that would actually benefit Kansas City probably as much as any team, because I can't trust anybody on that roster. And if Travis Kelce gets hurt, then you go down a couple more pegs, because then you got no one you can trust getting the football. Remember in that first game against the Lions? I can't trust anybody. Sky Moore, Justin Watson, Noah Gray, Kadarius Toney, fuck no. At that point, you might as well just run it with Mahomes, hand it off to Pacheco and McKinnon, because those are the only guys you can trust. But, tell me if I'm wrong, but when I'm watching games, I don't trust anybody besides Kelce, Pacheco, McKinnon, and Mahomes. That is it. I don't trust anybody on a game-in, game-out basis, and that is a fucking problem. And that's why we're sitting at a fucking 3-0 score, and I'm losing in fantasy. Nice job, Kelce. But again, if other Chief fans are in the room, then I'm an asshole. And then I get unfollowed, unsubbed, donos disappear, just because I'm trying to be fucking honest, But again, a lot of people want people to cater to them, cater to their teams, their players, and whatnot. I'm always going to keep it 100 on my teams and what I see. So, I wish more people in sports media could be that way too, but, I guess it just doesn't exist. But at least for the Chiefs fans, you guys actually got your championships out of the way. And it's not like it's over, but normally when you go to the Super Bowl, you ain't going back the next year. But based on what I've seen, yeah, this team ain't going to the Super Bowl. I would say even with a beat-up Bills defense, Buffalo is going to go to the Super Bowl this year. They're going to find a way for the next man up to step up. Defense will be shitty on Buffalo, but it'll be less shitty than whoever they're playing. And as long as Josh Allen and Diggs can stay healthy, it's really their Super Bowl to lose, in my opinion. Nice, Pacheco. First down, Chiefs. Yeah, and the only way that I could see the Bills losing is if they end up having some minor injuries on that offense. Then I could see a team like Miami or Jacksonville beating them in the playoffs, or even a Kansas City. So it's not like, they're out of the woods. But I'm just, based on numbers and what we've seen, Josh Allen has been playing great football. And they've always been second fiddle to Kansas City. And now finally Kansas City looks like they have some chinks in that armor. This is the year that they get past them. It feels like. Wow. First down, Chiefs. Travis Kelce, move the chains. You'll still bet Chiefs over Bills? Not me. Not this year. I've seen enough, in this first third of the season that even with Buffalo's injuries, I got Buffalo, San Fran, Buffalo, Eagles. Those are the three best teams as far as opportunities, in my opinion. But again, we don't know injuries. We can't predict that. So we'll have to wait to see how the injuries progress, throughout the season. But Bills, Niners would be my number one choice, and then Bills, Eagles. And I just don't think that the Seahawks, Buccaneers, or Lions are good enough to beat the Eagles and the Niners in the playoffs. I think that we could end up winning 10 games, or more for all of our three teams: Lions, Seahawks, Bucks. But it's just the depth that the Niners have on both sides of the ball, and Philadelphia. I mean, those are clearly the two best teams in football by a lot. Second and goal. Come on, Mahomes. I need a touchdown. All right, maybe a little shovel pass to Travis Kelce for a touchdown here. You know how they do that little shovel pass? This would be a good time to do it. So I'm trying to talk it into existence for you, Reflect. You hear me? So you get into this play call right here, little shovel pass to Kelce, boom. I get my points, you get your points. Let's see what they do here. Third and goal. Let's see if Denver's even smart enough to know it's coming. Or they'll do a shovel to Pacheco. There it is. Touchdown. Mahomes. There we go. Kadarius Toney. Bang, 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 bang. Maybe we'll get that play in the second half, Reflect. But I wouldn't be surprised if they get down to the 5 again, if they do that little flip. And they love doing that play, so maybe they're saving that for the second half. Kelce will get a touchdown before this game is over. Either through that shovel pass, fade route, slant. They'll find a way for him. Good play right there. There we go. I got some. I agree, Elliot. They've been very, very close where they could have actually represented the AFC the last couple of years, but that Mahomes magic, was enough to be able to get it done. But again, it's like you got to be able to have that right supporting cast. And it's one thing with Tyreek leaving, right? But then you had Juju, to be like kind of the number one. Now you don't have that. Now you can say, oh, Kadarius Toney, but do we really trust Toney, Sky Moore, and some of the others, Justin Watson, Noah Gray? I might be able to trust them one game out of like a 4-game stretch, but I don't trust them game in and game out like I do with Kelce or with like Pacheco or like a McKinnon, Maybe bringing Mecole Hardman back would be good, but they need help there at wide receiver desperately. And then if they end up getting a true number one like a Mike Evans, that'll solve all the problems. You know what I mean? You get a Mike Evans, then if Kelce gets hurt, you're okay still. And it also puts more pressure, and more double teams on Evans, and then other guys will be able to make plays. 10-0 Chiefs. I need more points, though. I need like 30 out of Mahomes. I only have 8. Oh, he's got Pacheco and Judy. Judy's got 2.1 and Pacheco's got 8. So hopefully I can get this dub. And then he's got Devontae and Waller with injuries. And I can't even play my best squad. I'm going to have to mix it up. Laporta's hurt. Fucking Mike Evans is hurt. Fucking Jeff Wilson hopefully comes off IR so I can use him. Hollywood Brown. It's like, oh my, Jay Jetta. It's like, how the hell, man? It's like I finally decided to switch up my strategy, and then all my fucking wide receivers are banged up. But thank God I got Hollywood Brown off the wire in the first couple weeks, because if I didn't get him, I would really be fucked. And same thing with Laporta and Mark Andrews. If I didn't end up having that, I would be fucked too. So, yeah, Mecole Hardman coming back would be huge. Yeah. Yeah, and the only reason that I'm going to be so critical, about the Chiefs or the elite teams, because they're elite. They've been elite. If we're going to be talking about Patrick Mahomes being on Mount Rushmore one day, they're with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, right? Joe Montana, John Elway, Dan Marino, and then you got Patrick Mahomes. We got to be able to see what you can do when certain guys are there and when certain guys aren't. You know what I mean? Are you a product of the scheme, the system? You know what I mean? Can you make other players better? You know what I mean? Can you make those other like lower name receivers better? Or are you really reliant on the superstars? Because think about this. If Travis Kelce's not on the Kansas City Chiefs, how many games is that team winning? Honestly. They're not winning 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 games. You're probably getting closer to like 8 or 9 games, or maybe even worse. They just need to do a full rehaul in that wide receiver room. If it was me, I'd get rid of everybody. Noah Gray, Justin Watson, see you later. Kadarius Toney, get the fuck out of here. Sky Moore, see you later. I need better players that actually can run routes and that can make the plays. I'm hanging on to Pacheco, McKinnon, Kelsey. That's it. And Mahomes.
Like we've seen most of this year, restricted start with Sean Payton, 9 plays, held the ball over 5 minutes. The last 3 drives, his 3 plays and out. Started at their own 25, their own 7, and their own 5.
90 to go. Sarah's hitting the please. Good defense there. Braves 1, Phillies 1, end of the 4th. Predators 1, Kraken 0.
Good job in his second year of getting more pressure. This time, again, not able to get the pressure, but keep in mind, Russell Wilson listed at 5'11", maybe 5'10". The big focus points that this defense had with Chris Jones and Carlos is getting
10-0, Kansas City. All right, I appreciate that. I mean, a lot of energy and time and the thumbnails and the film and streaming every day. We just hopefully can get more goats. Like the mods and the goats need to show up more. That's just the bottom line. Good defense there. Three more likes to 20. There we go.
But they take away a potential receiver. They go tackle over. They're in the left tackle over here. And by doing that, you're going to protect the quarterback. You worry about Karlaftis. But the problem is you only have 2 receivers. They're locked down. Nothing that Russell Wilson could do. No one open. All right, 2 minutes for warning.
Yeah, but also, Matt, Denver's O-line isn't the greatest. And, Kansas City's defense is one of their strong suits. So, if their D-line is outplaying the O-line, Russ isn't going to be able to do a whole lot. You know what I mean? You got to be able to take that into consideration, too, especially if Chris Jones is one of the best defensive players in the entire NFL. If he's got him and his buddies, being able to bat down balls and get in his face. I mean, you can't expect Russ to play like he did back in the day when he had all that supporting cast. Some guys can carry a team, but it is a team sport. It's 11 on 11. So I don't think Denver is going to get shut out, in this game. But again, this game is much lower scoring than anyone anticipated. Jack Hughes, nice. Yeah, but hopefully we can end up hitting, more of the algorithm in some kind of way. I'm doing the reaction videos. I'm doing everything I possibly can do, to get this channel to grow, to get more people, to get more goats, so that way we can get more views and subs and donos. other people that have 20,000 subs don't really get treated this way. So it's kind of shocking, to be honest, but it is what it is. I just have to keep grinding, and then hopefully we can get to a point where we can be like the other channels. What week do they play? I have to look at the schedule and whatnot. I have to look at the schedule to see what the Niners schedule looks like in Philadelphia to see what happens. I don't think either team is going to go undefeated for the season. Each team will end up dropping at least a couple games, or even maybe the last regular season game for their players to rest, depending on who they play and if they've already secured the number 1 seed or a bye. And then the Niners go to Philadelphia, I believe, week 13. So even if the Niners lose that game on the road, if they play again, it wouldn't shock me if the Niners get them back. So, but I like San Francisco's linebackers and secondary more than Philly's, and I think that Philadelphia. So I think that's really the advantage. I think everything else is really even, with quarterbacks and running backs and wide receivers and tight end and O-line and D-line. But really the difference to me, it's like Jalen hasn't really been playing the greatest either this season, but the schedule is, first place schedule instead of being in like a fourth place, third place schedule. You play tougher teams and whatnot. But I feel like the linebackers and the secondary for San Francisco are better. But we'll just have to see on how things play out, as we get further along into the season. Yeah, I'd have to look ahead. I'd have to see who the Niners play up to that point. But the way that the Eagles and the Niners have been playing all year, I mean, they don't look like they're going to drop any games. I mean, they both look like very complete teams that could, get very close to being undefeated, like, getting to like 14-3 or 15-2. I mean, both teams look that good, not 10 or 11 or 12 wins, more like they look like 14 or 15 win teams, and they may not even get that, but they look that way. But I will say that the Jags are going to be one of those teams that might be, one of the teams that upsets the Chiefs, the Dolphins, or the Bills in the playoffs this year. I think it's very possible. And if it doesn't happen this year, it'll happen next year. Good job, Pat. Good job, Pat. Way to help my fantasy, Pat. Good job, Mahomes. Awesome job, Mahomes. Idiot. Okay, I know it's on the Broncos, but still, that was a stupid thing. Like, dude, why did I pick Patrick Mahomes in fantasy? Why? Ridiculous. I don't even give a shit if it's a pass interference. Come on, dude. Like, every football that Mahomes is throwing this season is like a 500 ball with a Nerf football in the backyard with your homies at a barbecue. Just throwing it up for anybody to get. All year, it's been like that. Some of that is going to be the wide receivers that aren't very good, and others is just going to be Mahomes. I am not pleased. I am not pleased. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to, especially if they don't improve the wide receivers, I'm not picking Mahomes ever again in fantasy. Never. Never, 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 never. I'm going to go Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. I am never going to pick him again. Hell, I might start CJ Stroud over him. I'm not even lying. Like, I need to be, if CJ can get to a point where he can get me 18 to 20 or more every week, I'm benching Mahomes. I don't give a fuck. I am not going to lose with Mahomes playing like this. What happened to my hands? Telling y'all. Chiefs Dolphins in 3 weeks, and then Chiefs Eagles. Where's Chiefs Dolphins being played, in Miami or in Kansas City? And then Chiefs Eagles, where's that being played? Is that in Kansas City or in Philadelphia? And like I said, if the Chiefs weren't like a Super Bowl caliber team, I wouldn't be so hard on them. But goddamn, you can't be known as the best quarterback on planet Earth and play like this. So it obviously shows you that there's things that are missing. The offensive line is not doing a good job. Mahomes' reads aren't as crisp. The receivers aren't as good, and Bieniemy is not there. And at some point, people are going to have to be like, damn, maybe there is something to that Bieniemy's not there and Juju's not there. Because I haven't seen any fucking improvement from the first week to now. If anything, it's getting worse. Chiefs, Dolphins in Germany. Fucking terrible. It's like I guess I'm not winning a fantasy championship this year. Mahomes keeps playing like this. I'm not even going to fucking make the playoffs. I'm going to start losing. I got a good roster, but fuck. 8 points? Fuck me, dude. And then all my other injuries and bullshit and Jay Jetta. Fuck. Tough. Terrible. And then Mahomes is like, what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. Juju and Bieniemy. And a lot of Chiefs fans are going to disagree with me, but I mean, week in and week out, if he keeps playing shitty, what is it then? You tell me. If it's not Bieniemy and it's not Juju or having someone better at receiver, what is it then? Because it's not the defense doesn't determine how Mahomes throws the ball, right? It's not Andy Reid. It's not like someone is controlling his arm or his brain. It's him. The lack of talent and the decision making, it's gone backwards. You know what I'm saying? But like, you can have a system, right? And you can have, Tyreek leave. But again, if Tyreek left and Juju wasn't there, you would have gotten exposed last year and Buffalo would have went to the Super Bowl. But you had enough out of that offense and Bieniemy was there. And then, like I said, okay, what's not there? It's very clear. People want to say, I'm an asshole or I'm crazy or that's not the reason. Well, fucking you tell me then what the fucking reason is. Because clearly it's not the same. And I don't give a shit if you're still winning 4-1, 5-1. They look like dog shit. They don't look good. They don't look good enough to win the Super Bowl. They don't look good enough to win the AFC. And honestly, if Buffalo or Miami actually play a good football game, it's very possible they beat them this year. That's not lies. That's just truth. I'm very disappointed. But every good run comes to an end, and when you have to start to rebuild again. But I think a lot of Chief fans probably weren't anticipating for the rebuild to happen so soon. You're going to have to start to rebuild this team piece by piece. And it's not like they're terrible and they're like 1-4, but when you're supposed to be the best team in the AFC every year, you got to be able to make those critical changes. You just can't be able to skate by with whoever you got. Yeah, Creed Humphrey. But the AFC's dog shit, man. They're not good. Yeah, but based on what I've seen in the first, 6 weeks, if we get Buffalo in the playoffs, and especially if Buffalo is at home, Kansas City ain't winning. Shit, they might get blown out. And at this point, Jacksonville could beat Kansas City. Buffalo could. Miami could. I mean, it's all about trust, consistency, and I have neither. Now I regret drafting Mahomes. Terrible. Like drafting Mahomes might cost me unless he can start turning this shit around. The only thing that can benefit Mahomes is the rest of the AFC is dog shit too, so that he can beat up on all the dog shit teams and get me fantasy points, Kelsey and Mahomes. But if Chiefs were in the NFC, oh, fuck, they'd be in trouble. They would be in trouble because they wouldn't be the number one team. They would probably be 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, somewhere in there. Oh, man. I mean, with all my players getting banged up, I still think I can, get to the championship and win. But Jay Jetta on IR. Mahomes playing like shit. Evans hurt. Amon-Ra. Hollywood Brown. I mean, how many guys? Laporta. Like, all my fucking guys that get me points are like, goddamn. There we go. There we go. 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. There we go. Stone Cold. Love me some Stone Cold. That's one piece that will never fall off.
They just let him do his thing. Spack said on third down, I have no idea where he's going to line up. Just kind of freelances. That time, wanted to go up against McClinchy and gets home. That's just for a milestone. Russell Wilson, the 500 something has been sacked. So Jones set milestone. He has the record 11 straight games for sack a couple of years ago, and now he's got another string going. Get a punt here. They let pass. And Mahomes has 15 seconds, which is enough. Yeah. As long as 87 and Red's going out there, they got a shot to get field goal range. You bring up a great point about Vance Joseph and his defense. It feels like it's 28-0. It does. I mean, it's 10. They've been deep in Denver territory most of this night. Just the only one touchdown.
Nice job. Sarah with a $5. Someone wants me not to be homeless. Appreciate that. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $5 holla. Thank you. 15. 85 to go. Little check down. Who? Chris Jones. Who? Chris Jones. Denver's defense has actually, been pretty good today. Their offense has been pretty good this season, and then the defense has been the big letdown. And then obviously this being a divisional, game, a trap game, then the defense finally showed up. Now, Russ just needs to be able to process information, and that O-line just needs to give him a little time to be able to, get into field goal range and, get at least an opportunity for a touchdown or a field goal. Shotgun set for Mahomes. It's kind of sad when I trust Mahomes running the football rather than him throwing to the wide receivers. That's how bad it is. Like, I would rather have them throw the ball, or, give it to like Pacheco or McKinnon, or just have it run him in itself. I mean, if it's not Kelsey or Pacheco or McKinnon, I don't trust anybody else. I'm going Butker. Yeah, because if this was the Chiefs from last year or the year before or the year before, the Chiefs probably have 20-something. You got to be able to just look at all aspects of the game. 10-0, that's it? And this is a championship team? I don't know. Doesn't look like it. Field goal is up, 60 yards, and it is good. Whoever's got Butker in fantasy, that's 6 points. Nice. $13-0 Chiefs. Fuck, I better get to at least 20 points with Mahomes. I better get at least 2 touchdown passes in the second half. Well, I don't necessarily think the Bronco O-line sucks. I feel that the defensive line for the Chiefs is just really good. So you have to be able to look at it that way. Because if the O-line was just terrible, you probably would be down by more than 13 points right now. So defense is actually doing pretty good, but Russ just needs to be able to process that information. But also, it's not like the linebackers, Nick Bolton is good, but it's not like the Chiefs have amazing secondary or like amazing linebacker core unit. The strength is up front with their D line. You can expose those linebackers in that secondary, but you have to have time. He started Jake Elliott instead. I think he's at 10 points right now. Oh, you got Butker on the bench? Damn. But who does Jake Elliott play? Who do they play this week? You'll probably still get good points out of Jake Elliott this week. Braves down to the last 12 outs. And then let me know what you guys want to do for photos, Sarah. I mean, I figured after breaking up with the girlfriend that I would at least be able to like pay rent and like be able to pay bills and like survive. I guess I was wrong. I guess surviving and being able to live is not an option. That's a great feeling.
In 44% of games, the winning team came back in the fourth quarter. And 24% of games were decided by 2 points or fewer. This game is unpredictable.
2-1 Phillies, babe.
So, never change your losses. You only bet when you can afford to lose. Learn more at responsibleplay.org.
Josh Downs. Okay.
Yard field goal, and it's time expired. Welcoming everyone. I'm Bruce Thompson alongside Kentucky Dogs, Andrew Whitford and Richard Sherman. So Kansas City moved the ball well, got stalled in the red zone a few times. Fitz, they finally were able to get it going there. What did you see?
Yeah, I think they just gave them enough opportunities there to get in there. But, early on, they got stuck with the fake punt push. We had the Patrick Mahomes interception. But if you give these guys that many opportunities, it's the efficiency of this offense. The big plays have kind of gone by the wayside. But this is what they do. Travis Kelce had a great first half. And, again, it's on display, their chemistry and what they do. This here was a dime. This was the best throw of the first half. Unbelievable play, and then it's just easy right here to Tony on the quick out. But if you give Patrick Mahomes enough chances at it, they're obviously going to put points on the board.
Yeah, he got a chance to put points on the board, but you got to give credit to this Denver defense. We talked about how they've been struggling game after game, week after week. They're playing inspired football today. You see they're getting pressure. They've been going to blast the pressure rate off.
Broncos defense has played well, but again, that offense does not look fluid for Kansas City, and it hasn't all year. So it's a combination of two things. It's obviously one with the offense not looking good, and also two, good effort by Denver. But you're going to get good effort by a lot of those defensive teams, just because the team doesn't look like a championship caliber team, Kansas City. It just doesn't. It's a rude awakening, but it's what's happening.
This team gives up 37 points a game on average, so they got to be happy the fact that they limited them to 13 points. On the other side of the ball, this is the first time that the Broncos have been held scoreless in the first half of the game. What does Russell Wilson need to get things going?
Well, you look at his play in the first half. Not really anything to get too excited about. We talked about it in the pregame. We want to see him make the play, bring a spark to this offense. Start off here early. Sean Payton is trying to get him moving out of the pocket. This is right before the half.
just nothing there. Get him using his feet, looking down the field. And this one, throw it down, like throw it down the field. Let's make a play. Let's try to do something. You see Mahomes doing it constantly on the other side. Here they try to run play action. They were running it really well in the first half of the beginning. And he just throws it to Nick Holt, who did a great job for the receiver. But to me, look, 7 for 11 for 37 yards, no offense whatsoever. This must be different than the Jamar Chase 7-11. That's always open. This one's always closed.
Broncos are still in it, though. Like I said, it's the Chiefs are up 13-0, but it doesn't seem like they can still end up winning this game. All the Broncos need is just a little Uncle Mo, a little bit of luck to be able to get a couple drives going, and the game could be very, very close. But it definitely felt like it was going to be more of like a 24-20 kind of game rather than the Chiefs just blowing them out for like 42-7. Like, I don't think the Chiefs can do that this year. They don't have the personnel to blow teams out like they did in the past. It's very clear. I mean, we've already watched this fucking story repeat itself for 6 weeks. This is not a championship caliber team. Skating by. All AFC teams are not good. That's pretty true. They're not compared to the NFC. AFCs are pretenders this year. A lot of the teams in the division fucking suck. And then the teams that are supposed to be really, really good are having problems. Chiefs, with the personnel, right? Bills, injuries. Dolphins, no defense. And then whoever else that you would put in that mix, there's no one even close to those 3 teams. Like what, the Jags? And the Jags are young and up and coming, but, I mean, the way that the AFC is playing this year, hell, the Jags might make the AFC championship game this year. I mean, the Jags could definitely beat, any of those other 3 teams, if they actually play good football. I wouldn't have said that last year or the year before, but maybe that's the team that'll be, upsetting some of these other top dogs. I expect the Bills and the Chiefs and the top teams to play like the Niners and the Eagles. And if they're not, then, you get exposed.
When I got the script, I was like, "Does Taco Bell really not have a breakfast taco? Doesn't that concern me?" Fluffy eggs, melty cheese, savory sausage. The all-new toasted breakfast taco. I'm gonna tell you what none of us had planned. This being a running game. I mean, this game is actually came to play. Professional down here. Let me get it back on track. Yeah, what's your what really do you mean? Let me get it back on track. I didn't know that.
A lot of fun over there in TNF the shop and coming up in the second half with that. Will Ferrell, he's not boring, and Kiki Palmer will join the TNF in the shop crew. And to get in on the fun, press down twice on your remote and select TNF in the shop. All right, Fitz. So what does Denver need to do to get going in this game? That run game?
All right, they don't need to
2-1 Phillies.
I'll tell you that much. It was working a little bit. Russell's got to play better. We got to get some of those shots we've been
All right,
hearing.
let me pull this up. I got to put the Kraken game on here too.
Let's see if he can make some sort of difference on this game. Jerry Jeudy, let's throw it to him past the line of scrimmage, maybe see if he can make a difference in this game. But don't abandon the run game because it has been.
Oh, Blazers are on.
They got to get open because this Kansas City defense is.
Let me peep the Blazers real quick.
These receivers can't get open versus my corners. They are manning them up. So you hear all this.
Oh, it's not on yet.
You're getting opportunities versus man coverage. You can't beat it. Who's going to trade for these guys if you're not beating man coverage?
My whole thing is the quarterback's got to give them an opportunity as well. Even if they're leaving. They got to give them a chance to make a play downfield.
Chris Jones got involved in the closer there at the end of the half, right? He's not the guy you want after Russell Wilson in the second half. He's got to get the ball out, give these guys some chances. Let's push it down the field. Provide some kind of spark to this team. Let's make a play. And welcome back, Nick Bolton, too. Had that great pick on the very side. He's a big
I agree, Elliot.
But on the offensive side of the ball, Travis Kelce's going off with another receivers. Someone's got to step up because right now the second leading receiver is Isaiah Pacheco. He's got 2 catches for 14 yards. That means those receivers have less than that.
I mean, Falcons really, they're kind of hit or miss, but they're getting closer. You know what I mean? And like Falcons and I would say they're like lower than the Jags, but they're kind of like that team that is getting closer and closer. Jags are kind of like the Seahawks, Lions, and Bucks, where it's like, okay, like we might not be the best, but we're going to play pretty good football a majority of the year. So all right, second half around the corner. 2-2 Devils and Wings.
The new turbocharged Volkswagen Atlas does like big things. Andrew just said quick on a laser hair over at Amazon. Because less hair.
13-0 Chiefs. Red Wings and Devils 2-2. End of the second, Predators 1, Kraken 0. Kraken on the cusp of going 0-2. Not good. Not good. And Blazers are coming up here in 9 minutes against the Suns. Maybe I'll turn that on. And then we got Phillies 2, Braves 1. Bottom of the 6. Let's go, Phillies. I feel bad for some of the Braves fans, but and just because you end up having the best record in baseball does not guarantee that you're going to win it all in the playoffs. And now that's very, very clear. It's like almost if you end up winning the most games, it ends up hurting you because you have that week off. It's like it's better to be like like a third or fourth best team in the American League or National League. Thank you, Reflect. Someone doesn't want me to have air sandwiches for dinner. Someone wants me to be able to pay my cell phone bill and live, breathe air, survive. Appreciate you. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Thank you. $5 holla. Appreciate you. All right, get your walk on. All right, I'll let you know. 80 to go.
First half shutouts in 2 straight home games in KC. First time since the late 90s. So, see what happens at the outset here. If Denver can get anything going offensively, defense has done a pretty good job, all things considered, holding KC to 13 points the last 360-yard field goal attempt. And Mahomes and company to the 25. We go to Caleb.
Well, Al, Sean Payton came here well aware his team has not played well in the third quarter. He said, now is the time. We have got to start. He said, prepare for this offense to open it up a little bit. He showed me his call sheet, and that thing was marked up top to bottom. The Chiefs defense is going to keep making it tough on him. Now, Andrew told me he likes the pressure the guys have been bringing up front, and he wants them to.
Even the shitty teams in the NFC are better than the shitty teams in the AFC. Except that the real shitty, like Giants, I mean, that's a different exception, but there's shitty teams in both conferences by far, but I guess it just depends on how shitty we're talking.
There isn't any blame to take, right? They're so successful. But I do find that very, very unusual and comforting why this team is where they are. When Andy Reid will fall short, Mahomes, everybody wants to ask about the receivers. He's like, I got to be better. They get a big part of the culture, the most well-known brands, always deflecting the attention.
Come on, Mahomes. Like New England is dog shit, right? The Jets aren't good. Tennessee isn't good. Broncos and Raiders. The Giants are fucking terrible. The Bears are terrible. The Vikings are terrible. Panthers are just young. And then even like the Cardinals and Rams, even though the record might not be good, they can still compete. Like certain teams are competing. Like the only team that's really not competing is the Giants and the Panthers right now. Panthers first pick in the draft. They're young. But like as far as like, okay, you were a playoff team last year, but Giants are dog shit. But Rams and Cardinals really aren't that bad. Vikings should be better than 1-4. Bears are not very good, but they look pretty good. You know, obviously getting that first dub, getting it out of the way. But Tennessee ain't good. Broncos ain't good. Browns are going to start going on a slide. New England's terrible. Second down and 8. Mahomes, get rid of it. There we go. Give me some fantasy points. Yeah, but that actually works out in their favor, Elliott, because they actually want to get Michael Penix Jr., Caleb Williams, Drake May. Kirk Cousins is moving on from the Vikings, so they need to get a quarterback. So this is actually the perfect year to be shitty. Like, honestly, I wish I was going to be 1-8 with the Buccaneers, even though if that means that I don't win the NFC South this year and the Saints do. But if that means that I still have Baker on the staff, but then I can get like a Drake May or a Michael Penix Jr. as my quarterback, I would rather have that than have to stick with necessarily Baker and not get a quarterback next year. Or if like the Falcons get rid of Desmond Ridder and they get Shadur Sanders instead, like that could be big. You know, like you just got to be able to get new piece, and see what supporting cast that you have. Because I guarantee if you get a better quarterback than Ridder, Atlanta could probably make the playoffs. Some teams are only a quarterback and a couple offensive linemen and defensive players away from the playoffs. There we go. Dive. There we go. Kraken not looking very good. Third period just started. Philly's still up 2-1. Come on, Mahomes. I need fantasy points. I need 20 to 25. Get your shit into gear. What the hell is that? Why are they running gimmick plays when they don't have the personnel to run it? You really want Kadarius Toney throwing the fucking ball? Really? Really? Jesus Christ. The fall from grace is getting bad, Odin. You know what I mean? Like, you guys were so fucking good for so long with Mahomes. Now I feel like things are starting to crumble. And I hope it's just like this season, because otherwise, if it continues to be like this, Buffalo is going to take the spot, and it's going to be Buffalo as the number one team moving forward. Or maybe even another team like Miami taking your spot. I don't want to see that. I mean, I'm always down to see new teams, take over. But I like watching the Chiefs play football, but this year, it's really hard to watch. Yeah, I got the Phillies game on. Back. Gone. Castellanos, baby. Let's go. Phillies are going to advance, baby. Let's go, Phillies. Sorry, Strider. Not today. All right, Mahomes, let's go, baby. I need fantasy points. Let's go. Phillies, hot and healthy. Not who's got the best record in baseball, but who's hot and who's healthy. Philadelphia Phillies are hot and healthy, and they're proving it. Go Phillies. Is he? A lot of people get mad when I say that he is. That's, like I said, no Bieniemy, insert Nagy, right? And no Juju. And then like everything is the same as last year. Hell no, it's not. Like sometimes Kansas City looks like a championship caliber team, and sometimes they look like a team that's under 500. Like I'm shocked that, but again, new pieces in, old pieces out. Yeah, but if it was, what do you feel about Nagy, Odin? You like him? Go Astros. Fuck that. Fuck the Astros. Fuck Astros and Rangers. Fuck both those teams. It'd be better for the Phillies to win it or the Diamondbacks. Fourth and goal. Thanks a lot, Mahomes. Yeah, he's ass. And like I said, to act like Bieniemy and Andy Reid weren't the best thing since sliced bread. Now you're starting to realize, after you had, something really, really good, and now you have to settle, and like how shitty it really is. Like I don't even recognize this fucking offense. I don't recognize it. And like I said, if this is any team besides Kansas City, I'm not going to be as hard on these guys. But when you're supposed to be one of the best teams, and you're not playing like you're playing average or below average, it's just unsettling. Field goal is good. Should have started Butker, yeah. And the sad thing is even though the Chiefs are playing this way, right, they could still end up making the Super Bowl. But the just difference is they're not going to win it this year. If they end up overachieving and finding a way to beat Buffalo and their injuries on defense or beating Miami or beating Jacksonville, but I would be shocked if it's not Niners or Eagles. Like, I just don't see any other way. And then hopefully they can make the proper changes, fire Nagy, bring in like a Mike Evans, bring in another wide receiver, bring in some better defensive players, get rid of some of these wide receivers that you have on the roster, beef up the O-line, and then maybe we can get back to what Kansas City was.
This month, join the new Subway MVP Rewards program and get rewarded. Get 50% off any foot long when you join Subway MVP Rewards. So many all-star options. It's just for Subway, right? You catch on quick, Herbert. Join now and get 50% off any foot long.
I don't know. And I also think on top of it, the Taylor Swift stigma, it's like we went from like, as far as fans that aren't Chief fans, we went for like, I love this team. I love watching them. I love supporting them. I love this offense. The defense, even though they have some holes on linebacker and secondary, it was fun. I feel it's not fun anymore. You know what I mean? Like I feel like watching the team it's not the same. And then also on top of that, you got the Taylor Swift thing. So now it's like, I'm not saying they're a hated team, but they're not as enjoyable to watch overall as a product anymore. It's like they're not playing good football. No Bieniemy, no Juju. Add Taylor Swift, add Nagy. I don't know. It's unsettling. I want to get back to enjoying watching Chief football. So first, this Kelsey Swift thing needs to fucking end so they can focus on football and not just getting followers for the NFL. And then figuring out what they're going to do moving forward. The Equalizer 3. But I don't like that feeling where it's like I really love watching the Chiefs, and then now it's like it's hard to watch them. Like they went from one of like the most like fun, easily rootable franchises in football to like one of the most hated in a matter of like 3 months. And it's not even being hated on because they're good, like the Patriots. They're getting hated on because of this bullshit Taylor Swift bullshit, and then the way the offense looks. I mean, that's the perception. I mean, tell me I'm wrong, you know? For all those fans that aren't Chief fans, you know, it's like you're not really enjoying the product anymore. The Taylor Swift shit is annoying and it's a fucking distraction. I don't like it. And obviously, it's not helping the team at all. Helping the NFL get fucking followers, but that's it. I just can't wait for them to break up so that we can just focus on football again. Four 2 Devils, nice. Short game.
It feels like a lot more, but it's still a 2-possession game, technically. See the halftime adjustments, first possession they've had here to get things going for the second half. A problem spot for them has been the third quarter. He told us this week.
Castellanos, 2 homers last night, 2 homers today. He is on fire. Phillies. Second down and 6. 16-0 Chiefs. Shotgun set for Russ. Floater. Yeah, there's the flag. What's a combination of things? Yeah. I wouldn't have bet on the Braves. You know, like I said, it's just like the Dodgers getting swept. The writing is on the wall. You know, it's not about who had the best record, who's playing the best ball right now, who's hot, who's healthy. You never bet against the Phillies when they're playing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, records go out the window once you actually see who's hot and healthy. You can't have your judgment get clouded just because they won 100 fucking plus games and they were the number 1 team in the regular season. Are we in the regular season right now? No, we're not. You know. Contenders rise, pretenders fall. Yeah, it's simple. You know, the thing is, how can you be hot if you have to sit for a week? Exactly. Right? And that's the problem, that they need to stop that format, because if you're not going to reward the teams, you know, that have the best record, you know, having that time off hurts more in baseball than any other sport. You have to stay in a rhythm with Uncle Mo and that momentum, and having a week and a half off is detrimental. I mean, look at all those teams that had the time off. Only one team was able to really keep things going out of the 4. Orioles couldn't do it. Braves couldn't do it. Dodgers couldn't do it. I mean, the only team that's actually playing good ball is the Astros because of that experience. Exactly. Because they're World Series caliber built, you know. And then all the other teams that actually had to play games, they fed off that momentum. Kraken still down 1-0, 3-1 Phillies. Top of the 7th. Couple innings away from the Phillies going against the Diamondbacks. What a fucking collapse by Atlanta. I'd be embarrassed if I was a Braves fan, and we got quite a few of them on the channel. But it shows you got to be able to get the job done in the fucking playoffs. Exactly, Judah, exactly. Like I said, it's going to hurt, you know, people like when they do baseball, you know, sometimes with hockey momentum, you know, it's different momentum. Like in football, you can rest and you're going to be fine. But I feel like in basketball and hockey and baseball, it's like sometimes if you have too much time off, it can really hurt your team. And then the momentum disappears. Because momentum in sports is huge. Uncle Mo. Shotgun set. Russ. There we go. Judy. First down. Broncos. Feels like this will be a drive where the Broncos will get some points. It may only be 3, but they may get something. Throw up the Bronco logo here for Matt. And for the Broncos in general. Field goal range now. Let's get a tutty for pride here for the Broncos. Just don't false start. Get your checks in, Russ. It's got to be a quick 3-step drop. Let's go. Tipped, picked, idiot. Short quarterbacks. That D-line, man. Terrible. Oh, yeah. Well, the Phillies playing anyone. Phillies playing the Braves. Phillies playing the Dodgers. Phillies playing anybody. You know, we already saw that Magic last year. And obviously now, you know, moving forward, they'll probably be the favored team going into next year and beyond. The Dodgers and Braves can have the better record, but if at the playoffs next year and the same thing happens and the Phillies end up having the third or fourth best record, no one's going to be betting on the Dodgers and the Braves. History tends to repeat itself. Devils win. Nice. Wilson has already been over. Wilson's already been done.
And supernatural instincts like Troy's only come once in a lifetime. And oh, how grateful we are that they came in ours. No one made the beloved bird of Pittsburgh.
Goats, where are you? How do we go from like 10 goats last year to none? How does that happen? I love it. I fucking love it. Just me and Paisley homeless fucking eating dirt.
You mean this one, the one with titanium? No way, I can trade this busted up thing for one. You seem wishes from the birthday boys under this plan. Switch to Verizon and trade in any iPhone and get the new iPhone 15 Pro on them. Yep, and on an amazing network. And you don't have to ruin any more birthday parties. Let's go get you that iPhone. Here we go. Come on. It's your last chance to trade in any iPhone for a new iPhone 15 Pro on us. Only on Verizon.
Fries on wings, so fries and drinks. He can't come in so many things. Ice so pros and drinks your way to some choice of your game.
Catch NFL Plus. I catch NFL Network. And I catch every touchdown every Sunday afternoon on NFL Red Zone.
Catch it all and start streaming NFL Plus today. Plans start at $6.99 a month.
But as Denver moves the football into plus territory, you're going to see Spags dive up. And I think one of the things that's interesting is Russell Wilson looks to the right. He sees McDuffie coming up. So he goes up to the line and says, let's move the protection this way. Keep in mind, here's where the pressure's coming along with that pressure. They both come off the edge. He slides it to the right and empty. There's 7 guys coming. They're in zero coverage. And he gets the tip there by Gay.
All right, come on, Mahomes. I need fantasy points.
By this Kansas City defense.
And that ball is a good drop, finds the man underneath. The outside by Noah Gray, the number 2 tight end. Second down.
Frustrated because what the drive together looked very similar to what the opening drive looked like. Moving the ball, getting to the
Well, normally Russell plays good and the defense plays bad. And then in this game, it's opposite. You know, the defense was actually playing pretty good and Russell, you know, is playing bad. And then obviously the Chiefs defensive line is taking advantage. Come on, Mahomes. Like every time I watch Mahomes play, it seems like he's hungover or he's injured. You know what I mean? It's not the normal Patrick Mahomes that I'm used to seeing. You know what I mean? Like everything looks slow. You know, it looks robotic. The offense does not look good. Like everything is a fucking struggle. I mean, maybe this is just like foreshadowing when he gets a little bit older and this is what the offense is going to look like. Golly, I don't like it. And it's not like the Broncos have a 49ers or Eagle defense and he's struggling because of that reason. Like this is one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Really? Run. There we go. There we go, Pat. There we go, Pat. Come on, Pat. 13. I need 7 more, preferably 12 more so I can get to 25. Like throw for a touchdown pass and run one in for me. First down and 10 at the 50. Let's go, Pat.
Teams fear his arm so much, his ability to improvise, that they're almost forgetting about his legs. But the more you watch him over the years, third down and red zone, he doesn't do it a ton, but he picks his spots to pick up those first downs. Yeah. Also just wants to try to get his hands back on the football for his second down.
Come on, Pat. Shotgun set. Go. Third down and 1. Come on, Pat. What kind of fucking play call is that on 3rd and 1? That's a fucking Nagy play call or an Andy Reid play call? Idiot. What is that? Boo. Stupid. What is this? Kadarius Toney? Really? Jesus Christ. That's the dumbest shit ever. My God. I mean, are we seeing the fall off of the Chiefs in front of our very eyes? This is what I have to watch? Jesus Christ. That's the dumbest shit ever. I'd fire Nagy today after that. That's the dumbest shit ever. Like, what in your brain would make you think that that would be a good play call? To put the ball in the hands of Kadarius Toney? That's the last person that you want to have with the hands on the ball. Jesus Christ. Shit, I could call better plays. I honestly think I could. Jesus. But they're the same team as last year, they said. But we're still winning games. Yeah, but not in a championship caliber way. You're just beating up on shitty ass teams every week. Golly. That was literally one of the worst play calls I think I've seen all year. Mahomes has got me to 14. Still not good enough. Oh, Hollywood Brown, illness. Mike Evans, hamstring. Laporta, calf injury. Amon-Ra, abdomen. Jay Jetta, IR. Fuck my life. Jesus Christ. Can I just catch a fucking break? Yeah. Well, the Lions are the real deal. You know, like I've been trying to, a lot of people are like, oh, you just like the Lions and the Niners because you liked them when you were a kid. Well, I've never talked about the Lions being like this until this year. We can't deny the fact that they're an amazing football team that have good balance. They, to me, like I said, that's why I feel they're better than the Bucs and they're better than the Seahawks because they have good balance on both sides of the ball, like the Eagles and the Niners. And this might be the first year of a many, 3 or 4 or 5 year stretch where they end up being very, very good. But this is kind of the epitome of like the Kansas City Chiefs season. Are they going to win this game? Yes, right? But it's not as impressive as a win as it would have been last year or the year before or the year before. It's like you're winning and you're doing enough, to win the game, but you're not doing it in an impressive fashion. It's like you're just skating by, you know what I mean? Playing an opponent that's shitty, you know what I mean? But you're not, winning with confidence. You're not winning with swagger. You're like playing like shit, but you're still winning. Like, I get it. You're up 16-0, but it doesn't feel like you're dominating the game. Nice, Ross. First down, Broncos.
This possession is critical for Sean Payton. They're backed up deep in their own territory. Looks like,
and it also shows you with Sean Payton, it's important to have a good supporting cast. It wasn't just Drew Brees. It was an elite defense, an elite O-line, great weapons at running back and wide receiver. And guess what? You're getting $18 million a year to try to fucking figure this shit out. You don't have enough talent like the Saints had for you to be successful. Period. There you go, Russ. I mean, hell, that's the only thing they can do. Russell Wilson, 0.58 in fantasy. Is that good? End of the third quarter, 16-0 Chiefs. The NFL needs to schedule better Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night games. I feel it's been like a hella disappointment this year. Like every year, we always have like one, whatever it is, Sunday night football that ends up like being the worst. But even on Monday night and Thursday night, the matchups need to be better. And I get it. They're trying to be able to give these teams a look, this team a look, this team a Monday night, this team a Thursday night, this team a Sunday night. But overall, like the primetime games have been kind of ass. Like they have not really been very good throughout the schedule. Like worse this year than in years past. Like I get it. If you have one, game, like let's say Sunday night football sucks all year. Fine. But I can't have Sunday night and Thursday night suck, and then the only thing that's good is Monday night, and then even that sucks sometimes. I mean, that's not good. He said it's a script. Golly. $80 to go. Yeah. Primetime games have been bad, just like donos. At this rate, it'll take us 8 streams to get to the goal. That's sad as shit. Nah, Denver defense actually is playing pretty good today. They flip-flop because of the matchup within the division. Normally, the Denver offense is good, defense is terrible, then they flipped it. Then this game, the defense played pretty good, but the offense played bad. And also Mahomes and the Chiefs offense are kind of suspect this year. So, I mean, every week we get to see it. So, bases loaded for the Braves. 3-1 Phillies with 2 outs. Acuna in the box. This is very critical for them if they want to come back.
first can help someone find the courage to do the same.
Pitch is outside, 2-2 count. Come on, Phillies. Of course, they have Craig Kimbrell in there. Fuck it up. Fucking Craig. 2nd down and 1. We're in the 4th quarter. I need some fucking fantasy points, damn it. Slithering his way, trying to get a first down. I mean, you can't count on the running backs or the offensive line for Denver. They're terrible. Wide receivers have some talent, but he doesn't have time to get them the goddamn ball. But that's also a credit to, Chris Jones and then the Chief D-line playing great tonight. They usually do. That part of their defense usually plays good. But you don't want the D-line of the Chiefs to be the strong suit of the team. Then you're in trouble. $34 shots on goal. That's terrible. Kraken about to go 0-2. That sucks. There we go. First down, Broncos. All right, talk soon. Wow, what a catch in the outfield by the Phillies, and they saved their season. Wow, that was an amazing catch in the outfield. They had bases loaded. They would have took the lead right there. That was sick. Crowd is just going wild. Phillies all the way. It'd suck if the wow, what a catch into the wall. It would suck though if the Phillies end up, making it to the World Series, beating the Diamondbacks, and then they get swept by the Astros or something like that. I don't think that would happen though. Both of those teams, that could be a 7-game series. Same thing with the Rangers. Rangers and Phillies could go 7, and I think Astros and Phillies could go 7, unless we get like the miracle where the Diamondbacks actually represent the National League and beat the Phillies. But I mean, Corbin Carroll would have to play like fucking Mickey Mantle or something. Like, some crazy shit would have to happen for the Diamondbacks to end up beating the Phillies.
It's okay. You can always blame it on the altitude.
Picking up that Bill Jones report. This looks like it's actually got cover. This is booming contact. We had to open the second prediction. How did you confess to Devontae?
As a teenager, I struggled with acne, and I still struggle with post-acne marks, which is really frustrating. New Bright Reveal Dark Spot Serum by L'Oreal Paris. Concentrated with niacinamide. The brightening ingredient I recommend as a dermatologist. Fade the look of all types of dark spots for all skin tones. Age spots, sunspots, post-acne marks. Post-acne marks? New Bright Reveal Dark Spot Serum by L'Oreal Paris. We're worth it.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay. 2 minutes left. Kraken down by 2 goals. 0-2. Terrible start. Oh, yeah. Especially with the bases loaded, and if he would have fell and, dropped it and whatnot, I mean, they would have definitely taken the lead and won that game and probably won the series based off that one play alone. Momentum is funny, how it can be just one play that can change your franchise on how the rest of the series is going to go. But I honestly feel if they would have missed that ball, Atlanta would have won tonight, and then they would have won the series. They would have fed off that momentum. But now, since Philadelphia made that big defensive play, they're going to close it out tonight. And then we're going to get Phillies, Diamondbacks, Astros, Rangers. The Astros, Rangers doesn't surprise me, but Phillies, Diamondbacks, that surprises everyone. But we won't be surprised next year because we've already seen the Phillies do it now 2 years in a row. So maybe we'll be saying that the Braves and Dodgers are frauds, and let's just wait for Philadelphia to get to the playoffs, and they'll take care of business. Don't know if the Diamondbacks are going to be able to do it next year, but they're doing what we wanted as Seattle Mariner fans. You know, they're doing it. Good for them. I can always root for Paul Sewald, you know, and Ketel Marte. Obviously, both of them were Mariners. So 2nd down and 10. Let's see if Russ can actually get a touchdown before this game is over, or a field goal. Batted down. You're too short, Russ. Your offensive line stinks, and the Chiefs are obviously coached up to bat the ball down and put the hands up. They teach you that in Pop Warner. And when you got one of the best defensive players in the world in Chris Jones, what do you expect? OG right there. He's playing great football, just like Aiden Hutchinson and Max Crosby. I mean, you know, TJ Watt, you just incredible athletes. What happened to my hands? No rhythm for the Broncos whatsoever. Come on, Pat. I need 6 more points.
The best thing he does there is read the eyes and anticipates the ball, gets his head turned around to locate it, knock it away. Rodney Dixon. 22. Washington holds it in.
Oh. Good run back, but that's coming back due to a hold. Elliot, what shows are you watching now? You still haven't finished Shameless, bro. You've started it like 10 times and you still haven't finished it. I'm rewatching Dexter from the very beginning. I'm on the Trinity Killer. So good, man. Especially like when you watched it years ago and then you watch it again from the beginning. It's so sweet. It definitely puts your brain in kind of a weird frame of mind, though. You know, when you're seeing like the crimes and like the murder stuff, and then like, you know, the cover up and, you know, all the craziness. But like I said, there's always going to be shows that I can watch and rewatch. But sometimes I'll have to take a break, you know, for a little while before I watch it again from the beginning. But did Graham, did True Blood, you know, now doing Dexter, did the new Dexter, and then maybe I'll do Game of Thrones. But I think I'm going to do Sons of Anarchy. I think that's the next one I'm going to do, since I've already did Mayans MC. I love motorcycle gangs. Hell, I think that honestly, I would be in one. You know what I mean? I know that lifestyle is kind of crazy and whatnot, but you know, that type of like brotherhood, obviously, you know, there's a lot of things that could happen to you if you get involved in something like that. And a motorcycle club, obviously death, jail, beat up, or worse, you know what I mean? But kind of that camaraderie, and having the click, you know, is kind of it's a cool vibe. You know what I mean? Not everyone would be able to live that lifestyle, you know. And I do respect a lot of the Alaska shows that I watch, like Life Below Zero, like Sue. She's badass. She's like 50, 60 years old, lives by herself, fucking has like 8 buildings, like, you know, fixes her own vehicles and her own buildings, and fucking survives out there in the middle of nowhere. I don't know what it is about Alaska and being out there in the wilderness, but I feel that I could do it, but it's like life or death. You know, it's like if you don't fucking get food, or you don't get, you know, wood, or you don't get, you know, proper, you know, shelter and everything that you need, you're dead. You know, I really respect those people on those shows, man. You need a show to watch and finish, but you just need to be consistent with it. You just can't watch one show and then go to another show. You know, the other show that I'm watching right now is The Last Kingdom, you know, which is kind of like a Game of Thrones type of show. And I'm almost done with that. So I think I have like 1 season left of that. I think they did like 5 seasons. And I'm like, but usually like when I start a show, I like to finish it. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to like start something and then bounce around. A guy in the building, Raiders.
The bookstore. This is Rainy Day Books. You come to this is where the top authors come and very often begin their book tour. Jimmy Carter, George W. Bush, Stephen King, John Grisham, you name it. Most people at least come here.
16-0 Chiefs.
You can even go there It's
so much fun. It really is. Rainy day books just across the border in Fairway, Kansas.
Well, hopefully things turn around. Otherwise, no internet, no streams, no cell phone, no house, no food. Dirt and Paisley, me and outside, homeless. You have a restarting problem? You've done that with like 10 shows.
Like a promo cards flying around here in the wind, but apart from that. There we go. 2nd and 7.
Second down and 7. Shotgun set. Little check down to Pacheco. And of course, I'm going against Pacheco with fucking Chief will Chief. Of course I am. Yellowstone is good. I haven't watched Twisted Metal yet. I know fucking Odin tried to get me to watch it, but I haven't had time to watch it just yet. Yellowstone is very, very good. Metro Boomin. He said it like in the most like white Caucasian voice that you could ever say it. Like so unnatural. Al Michaels is fucking unnatural too. The motherfucker has never ate a vegetable in his life. Who the fuck has never ate a vegetable in their life? That's already suspect right there. Motherfucker is like 50, 60 years old, never ate a fucking vegetable. The fuck? Metro booming. Booming. Metro booming. Golly. I know. I knew you were going to say something, Elliot, because I was going to say it. That was like the most like white of white. To, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't expect him to be fake and say it like in an urban hip hop way or whatever, but golly. 2nd down and 11. Mahomes. Now he's hurt and I don't get any fantasy points. God damn it.
A great route, little out and up against Mathis, who they've been picking on and trying to go after. He does a really good job of pulling away from him. The ball is perfectly thrown, and he's just unable to come down with the ball. That's a huge game.
What happened to my hands?
And all his weight comes down
Oof.
on that right. Looks like that right arm. You know?
So they work on him, who's still down on the grass here with 10:42 to go.
Sometimes men's problems can be hard to hide. I just picked up a golf tip that completely changed my game.
Yeah. Elliot, or did you see the Good Morning Football with like Schrager and Kyle Brandt and some of them when they, Little Tunchi and they didn't know how to say it? With like talking about Lil Wayne? It was ridiculous, dude. I mean, I don't expect everyone to be on their hip hop terminology and whatnot, but I don't know. Some stuff is kind of more common sense, but I guess it isn't. I guess it just depends on what kind of fan of a music you are and how old you are, I guess. Elliot's my boy. Yeah, but you like more metal and whatnot. You have your preferences. You like rock, you like metal. You know what I mean? I don't expect someone that is like through and through more like screaming metal and like emo and like rock. When you get people that are like that, they don't really touch rap that much or R&B. You know what I mean? Like maybe it would be like tolerable for a little bit, like if you're in the car, but people have their preferences. Or you get those people that just love country and they don't listen to anything else besides country. And there's no problem with that if that's what you love. But if you notice people that love country, it's like country all day, all night, specifically girls too. And they might have liked hip hop at one point, but then they like converted. Then they're like, nope, I'll just find someone that does country, but then they rap when they do their country, or they have little melodies that kind of sound like a hip hop, R&B song, but it's country style,
Thursday night football in the shop. I can take the phone. My brother's P. My brother's Robert. Little Dicky Will.
Lil Dicky, that's my boy. My boy Will Ferrell. This would be a great room to be in. I love me some Lil Dicky. He's super underrated. If you actually see him, do freestyle raps, he's one of the best, like off the top freestyle. Like when he ended up going to the booth in New York, man, I can still watch that freestyle, like nonstop for like 5 to 7 minutes. He's incredible. So underrated. I appreciate a lot of the like white rappers because they don't get enough love. Not every white rapper is created equally. Obviously, we know Eminem is the GOAT, but I have a lot of respect and love for Lil Dicky. I'd be friends with him. Flags down. Pop country is trash. I agree. It's like stay in your lane. Just do country. But, they're trying to target those people that are really into rap and R&B and trying to bring them in, Little Wanye. Little Wayne. Nay. Wayne. Little Wayne. Little Tunky. Wheezy F. Bay Bay. Blindside block. Thanks a lot. There goes my fantasy points. This guy just commented on my Cowboys-Niners reaction video. He says, I don't know. I think I'll take Purdy over Mahomes, Allen, Lawrence, and Hurts. Yeah, it's like when you got a fucking good supporting cast, good GM, good coach, good line, good defense, good receivers, good running back. Of course. Hell, you could implement a lot of people in that fucking 49er quarterback spot and they would go to the Super Bowl. Yes, it's hard to watch. Every fucking game on Thursday night and Sunday night is hard to watch. I mean, besides that Lions and Chiefs at the beginning of the year, I don't know. Sunday night has been fucking dog shit, and Thursday night is hit or miss. And then Monday night typically is hit or miss as well. I think overall the primetime games have been terrible. It's like out of let's say 10 primetime games, how many are good? 1? 2? It's like you might get one good game in 2 weeks out of the 6.
After the catch. I mean, the acceleration, I thought maybe Pacheco was lined up there. He was moving so quickly. So, again, giving Chiefs fans a glimpse of
Mac makes too many mistakes. I mean, you got to not be able to turn over the football. If you're going to be a turnover machine, like a Jimmy G or a fucking Mac Jones or, that it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. You got to be able to hang on to the football, make your reads, and don't force it. And I know you're a Patriot fan and whatnot, but we already talked about it. Zappy is a better quarterback than Mac Jones. It's just the truth. Tom Brady ain't walking in that door anymore. I mean, there's a lot of guys that wouldn't be able to do it. Garoppolo, no. Mac Jones, no. Tannehill, no. Zach Wilson, no. Minshew would be okay. Ritter, okay at times. Bryce Young, okay. Baker could do it. Dobbs, okay. But not like, I'm saying like when you want to have someone better than just like okay or like can't do it, But Baker would be able to be well in San Francisco. He would be very successful, I feel, especially what he's doing with Tampa this year. Geno could play there. Baker could play there. Goff could play there. You know, you got to have a skill set like that. Guys that aren't going to turn the football over, that are going to be very efficient on third down. I mean, hell, look, Patrick Mahomes is supposedly the best quarterback in the NFL, and he can't even carry the Chiefs to wins anymore by himself. It's a team effort. They got to rely on Chris Jones and Kelsey. You know, he's not good enough to be like, I'm Patrick Mahomes, and I'm single-handedly going to win games for us. Maybe Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, but not Mahomes. Not anymore.
Russell Wilson's been playing with his Sean Payton offense. His greatest strength his whole career is that vertical shot. Those go balls.
4 likes to 30. Let's get there. 80 to go. We'll get the goal in maybe about how many more streams? Like 8 streams? Maybe 10? Donos be like Russell Wilson's stat in fantasy, 2.22. That's a pretty fair comparison. That's a late hit by Reed. Should have been a penalty. Well, actually, he was in bounds. Never mind. Initial angle looked like he was out, but he wasn't. He was still in. Clean hit. Worst wide receiving core in the league? Who? The Chiefs? I don't know. Titans wide receiving core is pretty shitty. Yeah, but Chargers choke all the time with their injuries. So even though on paper the Chargers look like they can win 10 to 13 games every year, they always fuck up. And I'm a fucking big Oregon Duck player, fan, and a big Herbert guy, but I'm not delusional. You know, I can't be like, Herbert this, Herbert that. You know what I mean? And then he's got the finger that's all fucked up. Everyone gets hurt. Mike Williams, Eckler, fucking Keenan Allen, Herbert, everyone on the goddamn offensive line, fucking Derwin James, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. Those motherfuckers never stay healthy. Like, there's certain teams that just get hit with that injury bug, and it's Denver and the Chargers, but the Chargers get hit the most. Like, if the Chargers could actually have a year where no one gets hurt, maybe they could actually go to the playoffs and do something, or maybe make the AFC Championship game one day. But Herbert needs to get the fuck out of there if he wants to salvage his career, because he ain't going to do it fucking there. Floater? What happened to my hands? Yeah, no Jacoby Myers. No O-line. No motivation. No defense, besides Judon. Christian Gonzalez both hurt. But at least you got, the Belichick, Brady, Gronk. You saw the best of the best for 20 years, and the reality is it's never going to be like that again. And if you're not willing to go through all that heartache and pain for the next 20 years, then Patriot fans should just stop being Patriot fans and just quit, because it's not going to get any better. You got the history, and you got the rings, and you got all that, but that shit is not going to repeat. It's never happening again. Now, could you end up being a playoff team down the road? Yeah, but it's never going to be like it was. You're never going to see Brady through the door again, never see Gronk, and there's never going to be another Bill Belichick, not for that franchise. Now, will you get another Belichick, Brady, Gronk type? Yeah, but that's not for New England. It'll be somewhere else. Floater? One. Oh, it's a touchdown. Does he bobble it? Touchdown! There we go. Tutty, 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 tutty. I was making sure that wasn't fucking Jerry Jeudy initially, because I'm going against Jeudy. He already has 15 points with Pacheco and 4 with Judy. That's a tutty. That's a tutty. Tutty, tutty, tutty. No shutout. There we go. Well, I'm not sure if they needed to give the Broncos some spirit. That was just a hell of a fucking play by Sutton. One-handed on the body, cradled it, and got both feet in. That wasn't just like, let's give them something. He earned that. That was all Cortland Sutton. That was nice.
One of my family went on a carnival cruise. Maggie didn't come out because she's a dog. Mom did things I've never.
Charlie Weiss on there, about 2003. Well, they better bring in Romeo Crennel as well if they're going to having flashbacks. And that's not me being a dick. It's just being real. You're not going to repeat that shit ever again. You know, hell, half of the Patriot fan base quit on him and they became Buck fans when Brady came there with Gronk. You know, and then obviously, some of them are still Buck fans to this day and low key. And then some are just like, I'm not going to watch this team anymore. And then they'll just go and watch the Celtics and, some other teams. And, I mean, to be able to be like the best team in football for 20 years and then to be one of the worst, that's, unless you're built for long-term, success and pain, there's going to be a lot of those fair weathers that just gave up, I mean, to be like number one in the division and then be number 4, not even third or second, like to go from the top to the bottom, that's a harsh reality. It's a slap in the face, but that's what it is. Red Sox, yep. But the thing is, the Red Sox can turn it around faster than the Patriots can. Like, even though the Red Sox and the ownership and then not paying Mookie and, having certain guys leave, like at some point, Boston could be like a playoff team. But New England, it's never going to happen. Unless, you blow that shit up, you get a franchise QB in there, a lot of things would have to happen for the Patriots to turn that shit around. I mean, it's bad if the Jets are fucking beating you, they're dog shit too, Touchdown, Broncos. Yeah, but you already got to have all of those, literally you could live like 5 lifetimes and never see what happened with New England. That was like one of the craziest runs ever. I mean, and let alone it was in football. Like, it's one thing if it's in baseball, or basketball or hockey, but to do it with the parity that's in the NFL year in and year out and to be good for 20 years, I mean, Jesus Christ, it'll never happen again. Most good teams have about a 4 to 5 year run and they have to rebuild. 2-point try is good. Could you imagine if Denver gets a pick 6 or if they get a 3 and out and then all of a sudden we go to overtime and it's 16-16? This is disgusting. MLB, you can buy players. Yeah, but even when you buy players, you can't really buy a World Series. Otherwise, the Yankees would have won like fucking 12 in a row. Back when they had, Jorge Posada and fucking Jeter, Mariano Rivera, when they won their 4 straight, if they could just buy it every year, hell, they would have won 10 or 15 in a row. But I see what you mean, though. Definitely NFL, it's impossible. Also, salary cap. Basketball, you can't do it. You can have a big 3 or big 4, but it doesn't mean you're going to win. NFL, can't do it. NHL, can't do it. Roughing the passer. Oh, I'm not speaking the evil. I got Mahomes in fantasy. I can't afford for him to throw a fucking pick 6, dude. I don't want that. I need Mahomes to throw for another fucking touchdown. It's terrible. 15.28 for Mahomes. At this point, I should just probably play CJ Stroud. Jesus Christ. Disgusting. Wasted pick. I'll never pick Mahomes in fantasy ever again. Not if the team looks like this, unless they get Mike Evans in free agency, then I will. But if not, it ain't happening. Oh, Kelsey's hurt. Uh-oh. Oh, there goes my fantasy points. There goes Reflex. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Travis. That's what happens when you fucking date Taylor Swift. This bullshit.
Just trying to push off signals that's going to wrap up around that ankle. It's plays like this with the scar tissue that it just sets you back. It's just always lingering.
Oh, he's injured. Oh, hell no. I ain't drafting Kelsey either. I'll go for Andrews, Kittle, or Laporta in the future. And then quarterback, I'll go Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. I guess if I did change my strategy, maybe like a Tua. Third down and 2. Give me some fantasy points. Third down and 2. Come on, Mahomes. There we go. There we go. Go, 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 go. First down, Chiefs. Give me that fantasy points. I got to beat Chief. Chief. Let's go. What did that get me? Come on now. Keep it moving. Let me go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. 17. 3 more. Let's go. I need 20 to 25. If I got to fucking watch this game for goddamn 3 hours, I got to get some fantasy points with Mahomes. Come on. Man in motion. Of course, they hand it off. And that's who I'm going against. Can't be Pacheco. Pacheco already got 15.5. Pacheco has been good in fantasy this year. He's been, if I knew that he was going to play like this and then, Mahomes was going to play the way that he was and, I would have maybe targeted him. Oh, his helmet is fucked. The sports gods are in my favor. They're like, okay, we're going to have a malfunction on Pacheco's helmet, so he doesn't get the points for you, Chief. Thank you, sports gods. Mahomes. There we go. Yeah, I wouldn't pick Tua as like my starter. You know what I mean? Like I would, if I could scoop him at some point or whatever. But I mean, for me, it would be, moving forward, it'll probably be Hurts or Josh Allen. That would be who I target. Bottom of the 8th, Phillies 3-1. Couple outs away from playing the Diamondbacks, baby. I mean, with the Phillies jerseys, how are they supposed to lose? They're not going to lose in those blues. $16-8. This is not Kansas City football. I mean, I get it, 5-1 record, but it's like the shittiest 5-1 in the NFL. And that's just being honest. It's like the most fraudulent 5-1 I've ever seen. Like, I hope they can get this shit corrected. I mean, imagine if the Chiefs were in the NFC, what would their record be? It fucking wouldn't be 5-1. Fix that shit. Good tackle. Takes away that space, all that speed and potential of a big play with Pacheco. No chance there to get that play.
Second down and 11.
City, all their needs are field goal. They're thinking about eating a clock and trying to make this a 2-possession game. So the flip here, Tony. It's up at the 24. And they get the 2-minute warning. Something out there, see right here. And of course, Kansas City will let that clock run.
Andy Reid and Nagy, better play callers than Eric Bieniemy. Andy and Bieniemy? Andy and Nagy. Big drop off. It's like having a 10 for a girlfriend and going to a 5. Golly. Well, your girlfriend just turned into a 4. Jesus Christ. You went from a dime to a goddamn nickel.
We'll see what happens on the other side of the 2-minute warning, which is taken right here. It'll be 4th down and 22. Field goal unit coming in at the 2-minute warning.
I need 3 more points. Come on now.
That's my little name, baby. Man, why can't Patrick change his name? It could be Kelsey, and Kelsey, how much you can save by bundling home and auto.
Bucker with 13. That was good. Casey defense with a 14. That's going to help Shep. Kelsey with 21 with no tutty either. So you're good. It's almost like he did score a tutty. So 9 receptions for 124 yards. But it shows you if Kelsey gets hurt, they're fucked. Chris Jones gets hurt, they're fucked. I don't like that. Where you have 2 guys get hurt and the team is fucked. Team's already fucked already. Then they're really fucked. Fucked twice. Especially if you lose those players. You got to have more depth. Yeah, these Thursday night games are fucking terrible. Like, it's NFL, and like, you know, we have this buildup in our heads on like what the games are going to be like when it's in the off season, and we're crying, we're bitching, we're moaning, we're desperate, and then finally it shows up, and we're here, and then the games are dog shit. Like, how many honest, like, quality NFL games have we got this season in like the first 5 or 6 weeks? Like really, really, really good games. Like what, 5? 5 out of how many? 5 out of 60 or 70? That's not good. Oh yeah, Jags are a sleeper team. Oh, I know, absolutely. With the bleed the clock. Yeah. Well, also too, that one big game with the 11 sack lunches put you up into that ranking. But yes, you know, you can play at the worst team in football, and the Giants are one of the worst, and then you can have an amazing performance where you play like, you know, you get fantasy points that if you were going to play in 2 games, but you get all the stats in 1 game. But yeah, very impressed. Of course, I don't get any more from fucking Mahomes. Kick is up, and it's good. And we thought that the Jets game was not very good. I mean, it was good at the end, but can't play like this against Buffalo or Miami. You can't play like this against Jacksonville either, or you'll lose. But a dub is a dub, and that's what all Chiefs fans care about, right? Getting the dub, even if it's ugly. But, I mean, it's ugly. Ugly. The ugliest I've ever seen. I mean, it's like I'm watching Elvis Gerback back there. Like, what am I watching? Is this Patrick Mahomes or Elvis Gerback? What am I watching? Shit, it ain't even Alex Smith, because that would be disrespectful. Like, what the hell am I watching? Fucking watching Matt Castle. Of course, Denver sucks. Vance Joseph, he's like, what do I do to keep my job? My team sucks. Think about all the people that spent like thousands of dollars to watch 19-8. Golly.
This is how they ended up getting the pressure. You see how they walk so many defenders up. There's 7 guys up close. A couple of them show that they bug and they drop and confuse the offensive line. So Joseph dials it up there at the right time to free up Zach Allen. And look at him.
Is it Denver defense, though, Odin, or poor performance by the offensive line for the Chiefs? Which one is it? Or a little bit of both? Because when you give up 70 points to the Dolphins and then you only win by 11, who does that reflect on more? The Chiefs O-line or the Broncos defense? And normally the Broncos defense is dog shit. Played good today. So what is it?
Specs came out this week and talked with the media about how much he's appreciated. He came over first year from Tampa, and he's got versatility.
What happened to my hands?
But he doesn't see the ball, but now he does. He's able to fight through that.
Trotman sucks. Russ. And a fumble. So are they just going to kneel it, or am I going to get at least like a Mahomes pass? Probably not. Probably just run the ball and kneel it down.
This defense is going to be doing this to a lot of teams this year. This back end is flying to the football. It's not just about coverage. It's about how they rally.
It's disgusting. 17.54 with Mahomes. And the thing that makes me so angry about it is when he does get mistakes, it's not a good play by the fucking defense. It's a dumbass throw, like a lob. That's unacceptable if you're the best quarterback in the NFL. Just throwing it up there for anyone to get, unexcusable. That's my problem with Mahomes. It's not like he's making good throws and they're getting picked off because the defense is amazing. He's just giving it to them all season. Oh, Jaguars and Saints. That should be good. That'll be good. It'll be better than this game.
Chiefs next 3. Chargers at Denver, Miami.
Thanks for fucking me in fantasy, Mahomes, you bastard. 19? Jesus Christ. Against the Broncos at home? 19? Couldn't even get fucking 20? Glad everyone else did good in fantasy besides him. Pacheco got some points. Butker got points. Kelsey got points. And here's me just sitting here with fucking nothing. Thanks a lot, Nagy. Andy Reid, Mahomes, appreciate you very much. Never going to pick you again.
Kansas City winning its last 16 regular season games against the Denver Broncos, who head back to the Rockies.
All right, congratulations, Chiefs. You're 5-1. AFC is terrible. But hey, you're 5-1. Yeah. A dub is a dub. How did we get to a point where the Chiefs were the funnest team to watch in football, where they're almost unwatchable? How is that possible? Night, brother. I'm going to watch the end of this Phillies game here. Let me turn this on. I'm going to turn that off. Let's go to TBS. Everybody turn on a little TBS for fucking a little bit of baseball. It's lost 2-0, so. Oh, not only 2-0, the Kraken lost 3-0. Oh, that's great. 0-2. Good job, Seattle. How are the Blazers doing? Oh, look, Blazers down 73-55. I'm just getting shit on every angle, huh? Any cash apps? Oh yeah, yeah, maybe in like 2 weeks from now, maybe we'll get one. We'll get one when I'm homeless eating dirt, which might be tonight. What's Cash App? Does that even exist? Apparently it doesn't. Yeah, what's new, man? You know, I always getting hated on and shit finding, and you know, that's just how it goes for me. Maybe I should just quit. Maybe I should just not do the channel ever again. Just hang it up. Hang up the jersey in the rafters. Never do it again. I mean, fuck, if I knew it was going to be like this, I wouldn't have sacrificed my Jordan rookie. $20,000 to $30,000 is going to be worth $100,000 or more. Kevin Pala. 3-1, runners on the corners. No outs either. Oh, they'll get out of it. Little bloop, one away. They'll get out of it. Matt Strom. Huge. There's two. Nice. One more out. What's good, bro? Thank you. I appreciate you. Things have been fucking so terrible, dude. Like, terrible is not even the correct word to fucking use. So I really do appreciate you, man. Cyber with a big dono to save the day. I figured that we'd hit the goal probably in 2 weeks from now. So thank you so much, man. I mean, things have not been good. Things have been really fucking terrible. Like, terrible times 10. Appreciate you. Wish we could have more people like Cyber, but apparently that is not going to ever happen. So appreciate you, bro. Cyber is the GOAT. I'd be fucked. I mean, like I said, I already am pretty much. So, I mean, it's like it's like one thing when I'm not with the girlfriend anymore and stuff. I was like, all right, well, we'll see how things go. But it's like I need to be able to fucking live. You know, I got to be able to at least pay my fucking internet bill and like sell and food and like live. I can't even fucking live. That's how bad it is. I can't even fucking buy Snapple. I got to fucking drink water and milk. It's terrible. Can't buy anything for myself. Can't do anything. Can't go anywhere. Not a good feeling. Runners on the corners. Cyber with a hundo. I can't even remember the last time we got a dono like this. Usually we're getting dollars. Thank you. Appreciate you. It's crazy how we would go from $200 every day or more for like 6 months straight, and then we hit like $1 to $5 on the regular. It's sickening, man. You know, especially with all the time and the effort and everything that's going on. So I thank you very, very much, man. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. O-Dog's gonna be homeless, eating dirt. Me and Paisley, nowhere to live, can't pay bills, can't eat, can't do anything. Appreciate you. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you. I appreciate that because I was getting really nervous if I wasn't going to be able to pay my cell phone. Like, I can't even do anything. I can't buy anything for myself. Like, literally, I just have to pray that we get enough so I can actually, like, pay the fucking internet bill or fucking pay my cell phone. Thank you, man. Runners on the corners, 2 outs, 1-2 pitch. Got him! Phillies! Yeah, baby. What do you want to see for photos, bro? I don't even know how to do this anymore because no one donates anymore. So, like, donations don't fucking exist on this channel anymore. I don't even know what the picture thing is about anymore since it's like this. So, let me know what you want to do, bro. Nice job, Phillies. Damn, what a disaster if you're an Atlanta Brave fan. Best record, can't get it done. Best record, can't get it done. Fraud. Fraud dog. That's tough. Some Hollywood Hogan. All right, let's do that. Yeah, those are the two hottest teams. So we'll see if that ends up happening. I mean, besides Diamondbacks have been pretty hot as well, but I don't know if the Diamondbacks have enough talent to beat the Phillies, but you never know. You never know. I mean, what would be the most unlikely scenario? Diamondbacks, Rangers, or Diamondback? I mean, obviously Astros, and I don't even know if Astros would necessarily be favored. I mean, Rangers were the hotter team, but Astros have the experience. So later, Judah. Tomorrow I will do. I think I'm going to do Colorado tomorrow. We're not going to have any MLB tomorrow, so we'll do. So tomorrow we're going to do Colorado Buffaloes and Stanford Cardinal at 7 Pacific time on ESPN. Yes, legend like you. I'd be fucked without you, man. I'll just tell you that. Yeah, so I know with the Buffs, we'll see what they got with Shadur Sanders, and we'll do that tomorrow. I mean, there's not really a whole lot going on tomorrow. I mean, there's 3 college football games: Tulane and Memphis at 4, Fresno State and Utah State at 5, Colorado Stanford primetime at 7. So then we'll do that, and then I'll do Ducks Huskies on Saturday, and then Bucks Lions on Sunday. Cool, it'll be awesome. Good to have you come back through tomorrow. Oh yeah, they'll beat them by a lot. Yeah, tomorrow. Night, brother. Well, I'm not going to have any money for myself, but at least my phone won't get turned off. So at least that's a positive. Cyber the goat. I wish I could be in a better mood, but just things have been fucking so bad all year and lately too. So wish I had more positive words that I could say, but it's like when you put in so much fucking hard work and time and effort, and things fall short day in and day out, day in and day out. You start to lose a little bit of hope. Not a good feeling. Yeah, it's been terrible, dude. Let's just be honest, dude. The goats, the mods, the support, like it's been fucking horrendous. I don't see any other channel that's got 20,000 subs that gets treated this way. You know what I mean? Like it's just I know some people work and they're busy. If you're like Shep or if you're like Cyber, but like what about the others? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like I said, I knew 2023 might be a little challenging, but I didn't know it was going to be like this. Like, what happened to the loyalty? What happened to the vibe? You know, I mean, we can't beat around the bush about it. It's been fucking horrible. I mean, if I was in that same situation that I was in, I literally would be homeless with my dog, and I'd be on the street. That's not even like lying. That's like real. Like that's how bad. So I guess when you have dreams and you have goals, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, we made a lot of improvements too. You know what I mean? Like with the thumbnails and with the overall look of the broadcast, with the scoreboard. But I guess that fucking shit doesn't matter. Yeah, and I also figured, by busting my ass and doing the like reaction videos, that maybe we would be able to get, some more support and whatnot. You know what I mean? But it's like nobody donates off those. You know what I mean? So it's just like I'm just doing more work and grinding more and then getting less in return. It's a fucking terrible feeling. I appreciate you, Cyber. I mean, I wish we had more than. I mean, we at one point we had like 10 goats. Now we have like none. Well, like you, one today. You know what I mean? But it's like normally, you grind, and we had like 10, 11 goats last year. Now we're down to like a couple. I mean, God bless Cyberpunk. Without him, what would I do? Nothing. And I don't want to quit. I don't want to quit my dream. I sacrificed a Jordan rookie worth $30,000 for this dream. But it's been fucking terrible. Not a good feeling. Not good for my mental health. Thank you, bro. We got more in donos from you than we've gotten probably all fucking month. That's a shit feeling. Great today. Appreciate you, man. I don't want to guilt trip you into telling you how terrible it's been, but I mean, you can ask Elliot, you can ask Sarah for the people that are fucking here, all the time. I mean, there'll be times where I'm doing a thumbnail that takes me an hour and a half to do. We're grinding for 3 or 4 hours, and we're at fucking like $5, $2, and then after YouTube fees like $1. That's a shitty feeling. You know what I mean? Especially when you're at 20,000 fucking subscribers. A lot of times I feel like we're at like 20 because that's how I feel at the end of the day. It's like you're working hard, you're grinding, you're doing your dream, and then you're sitting at like $1. I don't know if people don't understand what kind of feeling that is, but it's the shittiest feeling in the world. And honestly, if I didn't have Paisley, I don't know where I would be mentally. I would not be in a good spot because Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. But we've gotten more from you today than we probably have gotten all month. That's how terrible it's been. No goats showing up, no mods, barely. You know, I'm just doing this shit for fun. Like it's just a hobby. My life doesn't matter. I can just entertain people all day, all night, every day, never take a day off, and then and just like fuck me, right? Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. And I wish it wasn't like this. And obviously, if I'm lying, people would say that he's lying, but I'm not. It's been 2023 has been fucking terrible. That's just the bottom line. It has not been good. You know, yeah. And it's so bad I can't buy anything for myself. I can barely, and even if like certain things for like rent, the money that I need to be able to live maybe isn't as much as it was when I was with my ex-girlfriend. But still, it's like when you're hoping that you can actually like get your fucking internet bill paid or cell phone paid. It's a terrible feeling. I mean, it's one thing to be able to like buy things, you know, but I mean, luckily I've been gifted. Like I actually got to go to the Duck game, versus Colorado because Mo Gumbo bought the tickets, got ripped off, and then bought another pair of tickets for me to go. If he didn't do that, I'm not going to any Ducks games. Just I don't know. I mean, thank you so much, man. Means a lot. I just wish that we got better support and that we got more people to show up on a daily basis. But just like Elliot says, sometimes we'll have even some of the mods that they'll show up and then they just dip. And that's fine. It's like, I don't expect every single person to donate or like or sub or comment. You know what I mean? But I just think the overall support is nowhere near where it was, last year, or even before that. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible feeling. Terrible. But what's not terrible? Cyberpunk saving the day. And we're almost at 20,100. So I guess the only positive side to everything is that, we're 5 subs away from 20,100, but we haven't got any goats out of it, out of all the subs that we've gotten. Some people only watch reaction videos and that's all they do. You know, it'd be really nice to be able to, have other people like Cyberpunk care. Maybe one day. But I appreciate you. Like I said, it'll be nice. This will be the first time all year that I'll actually be able to have like money where if I actually wanted to like buy something or like go to the store, I actually could. First time. And what month are we in? We're almost in fucking November. That's sad. But I do appreciate you, man. What else do you want to see, bro? I got to go take my dog for a walk, but I'll sit here for as long as you want for many photos that you need. Yeah, and maybe if we had better support overall, when people are busy like Cyber and Shep and stuff, then we would be able to be okay. But apparently, it's not that way. So, and I get it. Struggling is a part of being a streamer and whatnot. But it's not like I'm at 20 subs or 200. It's never been easy, and this year has been so difficult. And I don't want to go down that dark path that I was, in before, where my mental health is in a very bad place where who knows what might happen. I don't want to go back to that place again. I don't want to do bad habits. I don't want to start eating bad. I don't want to start drinking and doing other things, that'll put me in a downward slope. I don't want to be that person. But I'll tell you what, with the way things have gone in 2023, takes a lot of strength to be able to fight those demons, especially how things have been. And that's just being honest. I know it's terrible. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing, it's like if you don't want to come in because you feel guilty that you can't donate, but at least come in and say hi and you can like socialize or be a part of the stream. You know what I mean? But like, to go from where we were last year and then obviously to where we're at now, it's like, is this channel even worth me doing? Like, I sacrifice so much every day, and all the time and effort that I put in, and I feel that like I'm so underappreciated and underrated and undervalued. It's like, is this like, I know dreams and goals are hard to achieve, but no one else that has this kind of sub count gets treated this way. Nobody. It's like, why am I getting treated this way? Like, why? Unbelievable. You might have missed me, but I haven't gone anywhere. I've literally streamed every day, fucking, nonstop. I can't even tell you the last time that I took a day off. Yeah, especially with all the information that I give out for sports betting, fantasy football, everything in general. I don't know. I feel I get taken advantage of. I mean, compared to some of these other channels that are out there, but no, you do more, bro. You're the only one besides maybe one or two other people that have actually helped us out, like on this type of level. And it's just a shitty feeling, to be like in a good position, and have like some hope, and then to work even harder in 2023, and then to go from a certain point, and then to, it's like we were running and things were good, and now I'm literally like crawling and eating dirt, and just wondering where my next meal is going to come from and how I'm going to be able to pay shit. It's not fun, you know. But I appreciate you very, very much, man. And honestly, if it wasn't like this, I wouldn't, I'm always real. I'm always honest on how things are. If things are good or things aren't. And it's not like I'm getting all this money from fucking ad revenue where donos don't matter. I'm not getting fucking 100,000 or 1,000,000 views on each video where I could actually get ad revenue to be able to supplement, things, you know, which would obviously be helpful. But thank you, for everything that you do. But I just feel like overall, I don't know, the absence of Holly, the absence, and it's nothing really towards Cyber or Shep, the people that are working nonstop, when people got jobs and, they're doing that, but again, for all the others, the commitment is not there, regardless if it's donos or not. Like, Elliot said, you can at least show up. You can at least say hi. If you don't want to stay in the stream for 3 hours, you can at least make it a point to come in and say hi and then leave, but we don't even get that anymore, so it's it's tough, and obviously I think with certain mods and certain goats, I don't think people realize when people don't show up, like, it's detrimental to the channel, because if I can't even get the goats or the mods to show up, what is going to make fucking someone brand new come into the channel, let alone sub, like, or donate, if we can't even get, like, and it's one thing if you have a busy schedule, right? And I get that, you know what I mean? But if you can't even get like the regular people that are very important to the channel to be here, then who's going to give a fuck if it's someone else? They're not, and that's the results that we've gotten. Like, I don't give a fuck type of results. But we have a few that give a fuck, and I appreciate that very, very much. Like I said, I don't want my mental health to hit a downward spiral. How are you doing, Chieful Chief? Congratulations on that win. A little ugly. Like, Mahomes didn't get me enough points in fantasy, but a dub is a dub. And hopefully I can beat you this week. But we will have to wait and see. But, it does show you, like with the regulars and the mods that we had last year, when one person is there, then other people are there. When certain people aren't there, then other people don't care. I just never thought we would get to a point where people don't care. You know, it's a terrible feeling when I'm giving my all. You know. Any other photos or anything else that you want me to be able to bring up? And and like I said, I don't like talking like this on the channel. It's like it's not necessarily embarrassing for me, but I think it needs to be fucking spoken. Because of course, if people need to know, if things are good and we're like this and we're the champ, like in 2022, or if things are not good. But I never thought it would get to the point where I can't even fucking live. It's like I want to be able to do my dream, and I'd rather do my dream and be poor than quit this and then work a job and be fucking miserable. I don't want my mental health to go down in a bad place where I start drinking or start doing bad things. I mean, hell, I can't even afford to drink, even if I wanted to. Even if I wanted to make bad decisions, I can't even do that. That's how bad things are. I can't even make a bad decision, even if I wanted to. That's terrible. Can't even make a bad decision. Mahomes is not going to win the MVP this year. Well, you got a 2017 lead. Pacheco got you 5. Judy only got you 4, so that's keeping me in it. We'll see what happens this week. But I'll tell you what, with all the situation with the girlfriend and then the ex-girlfriend and then the other, I mean, if I didn't have Paisley, I mean, who knows where I would be? And that's the honest truth. Things have not been, good for me. Things have been very dark, and if I didn't have Paisley, who knows? And that is the honest truth. Definitely have saved my life for sure. You like Rice? Yeah, Rice is pretty good. Some of those players need to be replaced or upgraded, though. If you guys can get a true number one receiver like Mike Evans, that would make such a big difference. They got to get Pacheco more involved. Yeah. Big Papa Pump. Yeah. And what's really crazy too, which is how things have been going. I still, owe thousands from last year that I don't even know what to do, based off, what happened last year and then having things, end abruptly, you know. And I'm trying to do the best that I can to be able to pay back things that need to get paid back. But that's the situation, It's terrible. And luckily, I got one of them taken care of, which was over 1,000, which took a couple months based on how things are going as of late. But the other one is still thousands. I don't know what to do. Not a good feeling. Like, how the hell am I supposed to pay back thousands when I can't even get anything? It's a good question. But you're the MVP, Cyber. I appreciate you. I'd be fucked. Well, you saved me from getting evicted a couple times, early in the year with the shitty situation with the ex-girlfriend. So, but hopefully, even if you have time off and you can't donate, even just coming in a little bit more often if you can would help us. That's for any of the mods. or the goats or the regulars. Yeah, we haven't even been able to do, photos at the end of streams for how long? I mean, all year. It's like that was a cool vibe where we could actually just have like, some real talk and vibe and look at food or look at wrestlers or look at whatever. It's like non-existent, doesn't even exist anymore. Yeah, shout out to Cyber. I'm starting to question myself. Like, is this what I want to do every day? Just give it my all every day for $1? Can't survive off that. No, we don't need to get any more. You know what I mean? Cyber already went above and beyond and then went above and beyond again. So we're good where we're at right now. We haven't even hit a number like this. I mean, shit, based on how things were going, it would take us who knows how many fucking streams to get to something like that. 30, when we used to get it in like a day. So some days are better than others, but it's definitely been a struggle. So anything else that you want to be able to see Cyberpunk before we go? I'll do photos for you for whatever you want, bro. It's good to be able to have you in the room, and wish we were under better circumstances with everything, but with like support and views and subs and donos and everything. I guess the one positive thing with all my hard work on the reaction videos that got us, to over 20,000. So that's a good positive thing. But that might be the only positive thing that we've actually incurred in 2023. But you are the real goat and the real MVP. And if we didn't have you, I don't even know if I'm doing the channel right now, honestly. So I appreciate that. I want to be able to continue to do my dream. I don't want to quit my dream because I know I'll get depressed if I do. The disciple. Anything else that you want to be able to see or anything? Are you still in the room or no? Hello, 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 hello. I'm gonna go probably go try to take Paisley for. You're good. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you were there. I know you're probably busy and you had other things going on. I can get you some more photos whenever you're able to come through next time around. I mean, thanks for really genuinely helping the way that you did. You know what I mean? Like I was really getting nervous on how I was going to be able to make things work. Um, and I know you always do as whatever you can do to the maximum whenever you can. And I really do appreciate you genuinely, very, 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 very much, man. And hopefully we can get some of the old goats to come through, even if they can't donate. But if people can start to do that, that would obviously help us out tremendously. But again, not everyone, can, but some people choose to show up, some people don't. And Cyber's a goat, and hopefully we can get some of the other regulars like last year to come through because it's hurting the channel a lot when people don't show up. That's just the bottom line. You know what I mean? And some people are busy. So not necessarily really towards like Shep or Cyber, but for the others, it's hurting the channel in a bad way. And I can only do as much as I can. It has to be a team effort. So. But I do appreciate everybody in the room. Elliot, Sarah, Cyber, Chief will Chief. You guys are awesome. I appreciate the loyalty, the support. Cyber's a goat. I mean, definitely now I'm not in a place where I was prior to a few minutes ago. So obviously my mental health will be a little bit better. I'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific time to do Colorado Buffaloes versus the Stanford Cardinal. That'll be the only really good college football game tomorrow since there's no baseball. Then we'll do Ducks and Huskies at 12:30 on Saturday. Then we'll end up doing Lions and Bucks with the creamsicle jerseys. I'll be wearing mine. That'll be at around 1 on Sunday with a lot of reaction videos as well. Thank you to every single person that came through that liked, commented, shared, and thank you, Cyber. Now I can actually make sure my phone doesn't get turned off and I can actually live for the first time in 2023, which is a nice feeling. Things have been tough. Things have been hard. It's been very, very difficult. So thank you guys, and I appreciate you very, very much. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Gang.